This one's for my number one fan. Tracks. Velvet in the building, baby. Let's count it up. Payday Friday. Yeah. Money printer singing like Sinatra on tour. I'm the glitch in the system, Wall Street soar. Come on. Every candle I touch turns green like slime. Yes, sir. Payday. I'm the gospel of the ticker and the pulpit is mine. Velvet don't trade. Velvet dictates trends. Cash rivers overflow, drowning all your fake friends. Turn your stop loss into my down payment, while my profit chart climb like a stairway to heaven. Whispers on the floor say I am the report. Stack so loud, NASDAQ feel noise, complaints in court. Every rad day is just a setup for my entry. I baptize the bear, bull horns for the ministry. Every short you place is a boost to my throne. Your loss is my wine, pour it out, watch it foam. Come on, Velvet don't gamble, Velvet rewrites fate. Yes, sir. Hey, even market guys whisper when I step to the plate. I'm a ticket's temptation, liquidity sin, turn futures to confessions. Wall Street's born again, degenerate messiah with the gospel of green. By the dip, flip the script, Velvet reigns supreme. Options like confetti spreads, raining on the floor. Every candle I ignite, got the brokers begging more. Portfolio baptized, prophets holy and divine. You pray for a rally, Velvet wrote the design. Ooh, ladies, listen, bitch. See, they try to play, yeah, but I am the game. Ha. Velvet don't chase, Velvet sets the pace. Velvet don't chase, Velvet sets the pace. Ready for change, Velvet sets the pace. Ready for change, let's the pace. Payday Friday, baby, sing it loud. Come on, every trade I lay down shakes the whole damn crowd. Side with the king where the charts glow lit, 'cause with Velvet in the room, every candle's legit. Payday, come on, payday. Payday Friday. Woo! I make Wall Street sweat when I enter the ring. Every chart bends down when it hears Velvet sing. Come on now, the throne is eternal, my profits don't sway. Now let's make some motherfucking money.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where we are once again starting early because we have a very important inflation report coming out in a mere 6 minutes. And I'm kind of excited because hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to get to listen to our boy Rick Santelli. We're going to get Rick's popping off in chat. So I do appreciate you joining me for the second day in a row. A little bit of an early, I guess, matinee type of a situation. If you haven't already, to let the world know that we are starting early, please smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And you know what? Say hi to your neighbor in chat, whether they're above you, below you in chat. Make sure you say hi, because that type of engagement does pop off the show to other people. Just once again to let them know we are live. Yes, you are right. I did put on the Lucky Buffalo shirt. We're going to need it today. It's a Friday. It's a Payday Friday. It's a CPI inflation report, Payday Friday. I didn't do the best yesterday, so I'm trying to bring some luck back to my side to see how I can do today. You know, sometimes you have to play the game. Sometimes you have to push the bounds. Sometimes you have to use performance-enhancing attire to make those gains in the market, because if I'm going to keep doing these Payday Fridays, obviously I need to keep making money. So we're going to see how that's going. Obviously, the very, very first thing on the schedule today is the inflation report. From there, I want to give you an update of what's going on in Iran with the U.S., Israel, Lebanon. President Trump was crashing out on True Social last night, so we're going to get into that. That was a pretty insane thing to witness in real time. Taking a step back and looking at some of the global situations, China, Taiwan, Russia, Ukraine, a little bit of individual news updates. Apparently, Anthropic has an AI model so strong that it's like now actually a national security threat, so I want to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to get into some seasonality, stats, facts, and figures, but But remember, since it is a Payday Friday, I don't want you guys to forget the little fact that we got to celebrate. Do not forget to like, retweet, and follow pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video, or you could just go to my Twitter at Matt_Kohrs. We're not giving away 1, 2, or 3, but we are giving away 10 prop accounts, 5 for futures, 5 for options. So we're doing that. And then, of course, all the winners of these prop accounts will also be in the raffle for the marble race. So the fastest marble racer in all the land is going to get about $150 of cold hard cash, $150 of just pure shekels for me to pay for your bar tab this weekend. So we're just doing a giveaway. Obviously, you don't have to pay to be involved in this. It's just a freebie giveaway. So go to Twitter right now, like, retweet, and follow. This is going to be open to everyone on Twitter, also the Discord members as we normally do it. But 10 prop accounts, $150 of cold hard cash, and all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. And if you're in the Discord, just wait for us to actually start running it, and I'll tag everyone. But once again, 5 from Lucid, 5 from Vanquish. Lucid right now is running a pretty sick deal. 40% off with code Goonie. And then on the other side, you have Vanquish running a 50% off deal with code Goonie. So code Goonie on both. If you're an option trader, check out Vanquish. If you're a futures trader, check out Lucid. Code Goonie is going to work on both. And actually on Lucid, I got some news from my manager over there that my accounts, which are currently paused to go live, actually might be going live as of today. So pretty excited about that. But as you can see, pause. All 5 of my accounts currently paused, just waiting to officially go live. So just wanted to shout out what's going on. Payday Friday. Obviously, we have some big news. We're going to be listening to our boy Rick. Let me speed this up to make sure we are with time. And then right now in pre-market, things are decently green. The SPY is up. The Qs are up. Oil's coming down. Bitcoin is trading at 72, so kind of flat there. But really, the reason we're here right now is to see what in the world happens to the S&P 500. So, hey, this is good time as ever to ask you guys. You have 2 minutes left. If you had to guess, what is the reaction going to be? Thumbs up for bullish, thumbs down for bearish. 1 for bullish, 2 for bearish. Bullish for bullish or bearish for bearish. At 8:30, we are going to be getting the CPI report. The line in the sand is 1% for month over month. And then if you look at year over year, it is 3.4%. These are the lines in the sand right here, 3.4, 1.0. So just wanted to shout that out of what it is, but better than that, what do you guys think it's going to be? Bullish or bearish? And you have literally less than 1 minute, which means that I need to make sure that the audio is on. The audio is on. We don't want to miss a second of our boy Rick. We don't want to miss 1 freaking second. All right, let me switch this up. I did do a little bit of a scalp trade this morning for a quick 10 points. I did that early this morning right here, long at 7:15, out at 7:22. 10 points, made about $200 per account. I'm trading right now 6 funded accounts and then 10 evals, but I could cover that in a second. And if you were watching the show yesterday, I was just being stupid and I kind of deserve to lose accounts. Whoa! There we go. We are off to the races. Huge pop up, then a quick revert, and then another pop up. So apparently the market liked what had to be said, liked what had to be shown. All right, lower than expected. That is a good start to this beautiful Payday Friday. Inflation officially coming in less than expected. Now, I'm not telling you you should trust these numbers because I'm going to trust government inflation numbers as far as I can throw the government, but clearly the market is reacting.
In Chicago, standing by.
All right, here's our boy Rick. Rick's in chat.
The numbers.
Rick's in chat.
And these are going to be big. This is a March number. We're in a conflict that's
lower
starting at the end of
than
February.
expected. Bullish, dude.
0.9%.
The lucky Buffalo
Just shy
shirt.
1%.
It's paying dividends once again.
Expected. This is the
Once
number
again.
people were counting on being on the high side, obviously because of what's going on in Mideast.
There's Rick. There he is. What a beaut.
Gasoline
What a
is being
beaut.
captured in that number because when you look at core, boom, it drops down to 0.2. And by the way, up 0.9 would be the hottest since June of 22 when we were over.
So it's still
1%.
the hottest, but not as hot as
0.2
expected.
It's a little lighter than expected, actually, and that would equal where we were last month until we see revisions, which sometimes come later. To find a smaller number, you're back to May of 25. Now, let's take the long view. Year over year, up 3.3. We were looking for a little bit higher, maybe 3.4.
All right, Bulls are still in control.
That follows 2.4.
Bulls
and that
are
also
in
is
control.
capturing that surge. 3.3, when was the last time we were anywhere near that? You're talking equaling May of 24 to find a higher number. You're in April of 24. And finally, let's go year over year core. And just like headline, it drops down when you remove the energy products, oil, gasoline, and everything being impacted. 2.6, lighter than expected, and still 1/10 hotter than 2.5 in the rearview mirror. 2.6 equals the last couple of months of 25 to find a higher number. You're in September of 25. And I like to do the indexes because this really paints a picture. Should be no surprise that 330.21 is an all-time high. This is going back like 100 years. And if you look at the core, 334 and change, another all-time high. So if you just look at the way the numbers are put together, pretty much they go up every month. The real issue is how much they go up, and to remove some of the compounding nature of what these numbers encompass. You have to see minus signs. I wouldn't count on that anytime in the future. We see 428-ish on a 10-year. They were expecting these numbers. That's unchanged and down 7 on the week. Joe and the gang, back to you.
Joe and the gang, back to you. Rick,
Thanks,
he
Rick.
always just
Thank
crushes
you,
it.
sir.
What a
Get over to
professional.
Steve Leisman. He joins us now with
All right,
his
what's
read
Steve
on
have
all
to
of these
say?
numbers.
He's going to agree with Rick. Rick crushes it.
Hey, good morning, Andrew. Yeah, I think what we want to think about is the long term.
Say Rick
One thing
was
I
right.
noticed right off the
Say
bat
it.
was the gasoline prices in this index were up 21%. However,
Holy
they are
crap.
up 40% overall. So expect some of that to come into the April forecast.
That's
I think
not
this is the way
so good.
the Fed is looking at this in terms of what is short term here, what is long term, what will take more time
Dude, this
to
is
work
going to
through the
be
system.
a hell of a
The second
situation
thing, we
for
have here
Warsh
is
to take care
overall
of when he
that
gets
energy
in
prices
next
up
month.
10.9%. Food up 0. And what that says to me
Food's
is
up
we know
0?
that there is going to be some pressure on food prices from the disruption of shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. So that's something that will come down the road. Also, used car prices down 0.4%. There was an expectation for it to increase by 1%. So not sure where that's coming from. Sometimes what the economists use to estimate prices, which tend to be real indices out there, ends up differently in what the BLS is reporting. So think about the different layers of inflation that are out there. One is the tariff inflation. That seems to be working its way through. It raised prices, but perhaps not adding additional inflation at the moment. The key here is the services ex housing. That was up 0.2%, relatively calm. So what we need to do now is wait to see how much of what we've seen, what we knew was coming, this surge in gasoline and energy prices, ends up bleeding into the core.
How
That's
sticky
what the
is that
Federal
going to
Reserve
be?
We'll watch. Had it gotten
core,
into this
picking
with a
out food
better
and
inflation
energy.
rate, it would be more likely to look through it. But there is some expectation, guys, that the rhetoric from the Fed, at least, turns a little bit more restrictive, a little bit more hawkish over time because of not just what happened today.
The market
but
is
what could be
fading that
coming
pop
in
pretty
the months
quickly.
ahead. And just one more thing, guys. I know you've been talking about this a little bit this morning, but Huson, my colleague over at CNBC.com, has in fact confirmed this meeting that's happened between Scott Bessent, Fed Chair Powell, and major banks dealing with this Anthropic Mythos development that's out there in terms of the threat it is to the banking
This
system.
is the craziest story. I'll be covering that in a second.
When it comes to the financial
But the
system.
new
Guys?
AI model
Hey,
from
Steve, related
Anthropic
to that,
is apparently a
from what you
actual
think,
national
one of the things
security
that
threat.
Anthropic is doing apparently is speaking to all of these big tech companies first so that they can then reach out to all of their clients and try to patch all bugs early. My question to you is whether you think that they have a responsibility to go to the banks, in which case, if you're going to the banks, you then have a responsibility to go to other different industries and how far out you do it.
I mean, I don't know. I keep thinking,
yeah, brother.
I don't know if Joe
Dude,
is there. What
there's
his
a risk
favorite,
that all banks could be hacked by
infectious disease
dipshits who have
apocalypse,
access to this
movie
AI
is
model.
out there.
Yeah, you got to
But
reach
this
out
seems
to
a
them.
bit like they've
Of course you
discovered
have to reach
something
out to
that if
them.
it spread would be very bad, and it looks like they haven't.
The code
gone
got
to the
leaked,
government.
not a threat.
It looks
You're
like they've gone to the
100%
major
wrong.
software.
You might want to check your
tech
sources
companies and
on
told
that
them
one.
And it looks like now Bessent and Powell have seen it as their responsibility to inform the banks of this. So I'm not sure how much wider that responsibility is. I would like to, I assume, see it buried underneath 500 feet of concrete, this thing, but I don't think that's the way it's going to work. I don't know that, Andrew, anybody knows what the proper course of action is in a situation like this.
I am legend. I am legend.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Will Smith before the
hot drama. I think Will Smith is officially getting divorced. Did you guys hear that?
I thought actually because they had me on the screen.
Oh, they had you on the screen.
That I thought
I would have said
you're just a voiceover of.
Well, that would be half the title. He is a legend in his own mind.
All right, who are they going to bring on?
Steve, thank you for that. Preparing to cap off the historic Artemis 2 mission to the moon, and then former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is going to join us. Don't go anywhere. Squawk coming up.
Isn't this the guy who allowed them to spend billions of dollars to create no EV charging stations? I don't really know enough about the Transportation Secretary, but isn't he like objectively not doing a good job? All I hear is on a national level, and then also in Gavin Newsom's California, that they're like pissing away billions and billions of dollars to allegedly build out EV infrastructure, and they have like objectively nothing to show for it. But maybe I'm missing something. Maybe he hasn't done a good job. Like I said, it's not like I'm a person studying the most recent transportation news, but the news that seems to come on my headlines for old PD boy there is, it seems like air traffic control not going so hot. There's been an uptick in airplane crashes, so that's not so good. A waste of money on EV infrastructure. I'm not necessarily hearing good news in the world of transportation, but maybe there is. Maybe it's one of those things that only negative news is like what's hitting the media, and then good news is just overlooked. Obviously, that's a possibility. I'm going to come back to this just to see if they have anything cool to say about Artemis. That's just something that I'm personally interested in. But obviously, we have a lot to get into, And the final thing that they were just talking about is right here. Anthropic model scare sparks urgent Bessent and Powell warnings to bank CEOs. This is like a huge development. For those of you who need a quick TLDR, Anthropic, who has Claude, they created a new model called Mythos, which is apparently just like exponentially better, and it's to the point where you could prompt it like, hey, act as a security expert, can you go find exploits because I need to patch them up, and it's finding all of these software kind of digital security exploits to the point that it's like actually a national security threat for all tech members, for banks, which because if it's a threat for them, that's why it's at the national security level. So we're going to be covering that, but kind of just blows my mind of how rapidly this AI development is really getting. So that's a little bit of context. This is a big story that came out yesterday, and it's wild. The funny thing is, for me, I was watching these kind of like hacking videos and how just even the art of hacking has developed over the past few decades. And the newest age of hacking really is people who don't have a hacking ability asking AI.
Splashdown for Artemis.
All right, here's the Artemis.
A record-setting trip around
There's
the
Becky.
moon and a key
Are you guys
step
happy
toward
now? This is
returning
all you
humans
wanted.
to the surface. Splashdown is expected tonight around 8:07 p.m. Eastern Time in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California near San Diego. That timing could shift depending on weather and reentry conditions. Up next, a wide-ranging interview with former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. We'll get his thoughts on inflation, the president's budget, what's happening in terms of the government shutdown that still exists, all that and much more when Squawk Box comes right back.
Pete
As we
an
head to a break,
expert
though,
on any of
take a look
that
at
stuff?
The pre-market winners
Is he even
and
an
losers
expert on
in the
transportation?
S&P 500. Lumentum is leading
Well,
the way
anyway,
higher. It's up
I
by
thought the
5.4%.
Artemis bit was going to be a bit longer, but apparently landing just past 8 p.m. ET today, if everything goes well in terms of like the weather, the re-entry conditions, and all that good jazz. But I don't know. I'm really starting to question if the moon is real or not. I mean, for the longest time, I was like, what crazy person's going to believe in the moon? But now seeing the pictures and the video, unless it's all AI, unless they have Hollywood up there and they're like really pulling a fast one on all of us. But I have to admit, for the longest time, I was in the like anti-moon being real camp. And I'm starting to question my beliefs. But then, like, am I just a sucker here? Am I the sucker getting tricked by AI? You know, like, do they just have Steven Spielberg up there slinging some CGI with AI to dupe the rest of us into the whole big moon fallacy? Like, it's all smoke and mirrors of like, hey, look there's this giant thing we're calling the moon. Don't worry about the Epstein files. Just something to think about. Just something to think about. Like, I have to admit my beliefs are starting to wane, and I just wonder if I'm being duped. I really, really wonder if I'm being duped. So I just want to, I don't know. I'm in a clear, interesting mental flux point of my life, a transitional period. And for the longest time, I held the anti-moon beliefs, but AI screwing with me. Hollywood screwing with me, man. So something to consider. Stock futures are flat as traders monitor fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran. Let's see if they updated it. Nope, they did not. All right. So ever since that CPI report, which was a good report, we popped and we are giving some of it back. We popped, we're giving some of it back. Bitcoin popped and it's holding. Oil really not doing the most. Here's a look at the NQ movement. You can see at first it was a very excited movement. We popped, gave it back, popped, and now we are slowly bleeding it off. But overall, the TLDR is that inflation came in less than expected. Now, in a vacuum, it's the worst inflation we've had since June of 24, I believe they said, maybe 22, because it did go up. We did tick up almost 1%, but once again, the Wall Street expectation was by even more. So inflation is not heading in the right direction. Remember, inflation should be at 2%. It's coming in at 3.3. So in the short term, it's a win because they expected 3.4, but we're still over 50% away where we should be. So something to consider. I guess that's probably why the initial reaction was higher because, oh, great, the relative measurement was 3.4. We came in at 3.3. And then maybe the fading of it was saying, this is still not in a vacuum where we want to be. So that was the news that just came out at 8:30. I do want to remind you that at 10 a.m. we are getting consumer sentiment. So there is going to be another data drop today. And on top of that, you never know when you're going to be getting, let me zoom in on that so it's a little bit bigger. You never know when you're going to be getting a random update about Iran, Israel, Lebanon, China, Taiwan, Cuba, Russia, Ukraine. So at that, like it literally today, we could be getting a major update on any one of those ones that I just named. So yeah, this is something that we know is going to be announced, but at any random point, we could see a giant rip to the upside or a giant spike to the downside. So be prepared for that. And you're probably not going to be surprised, but it could get even more volatile because of our own president, who I could best say was legitimately crashing out last night. So at first, we were getting normal updates from President Trump, and obviously he's not so stoked. You're a dumbass. I'm a dumbass? Wait, you sent $1 to me to tell me I'm a dumbass? Oh, here we go. This is obviously a paid shill from Big Moon. Dude, it's so obvious. It's so obvious when we have shills from Big Moon in here. Like, just say it. You might as well put it in your name that you're a paid shill from Big Moon. A paid shill. Dude, I get it. You got to put food on your table. But you're just being paid by a giant multi-trillion-dollar organization to get us to believe in the moon. And it's so obvious. You didn't come to that thought yourself. You're literally being paid to come in here to what? Send me a rumble rant that I'm dumb because I can sense out the truth on this one? Come on, brother. Come on. Dude, I understand that Big Moon has dirty tactics, but this is a new low. This is legitimately a new low. But anyway, what started as normal commentary, and when I say normal, I mean normal for President Trump, not so stoked with how things are going with Iran and the Strait, which is kind of adding a little bit of tension to the overall ceasefire. That quickly led into a legitimate crash out. So anyway, this started around 5 p.m. last night. There are reports that Iran is charging fees to tankers going through the Strait. They better not be, and if they are, they better stop now. Okay, that's normal. I don't think that's like anything too crazy. Matt, 4 years as a bot fighter. Shout out, Boston. I hope all is well. And then once again, I would say this is somewhat normal. Iran is doing a very poor job, dishonorable, some would say, of allowing oil to go through the strait. This is not the agreement we have. So, okay, this was the updates as of last night. Really not that crazy, and it's obviously important. And once again, it's causing tensions, which were high, to come down to spike once again. U.S. oil slips below 100 as Trump demands reopening of the strait. So obviously the overall market, let me go back to the daily, the equities market, the measurement of being risk on, like legitimately a nice recovery there. Oil is still high relative to where we were. We were in the 60s. We did spike up to 118-ish. We are coming down, but granted, so it depends on where you want to measure it from. From where we were, we're still up pretty much really 100% gain. But from this recent high, obviously, this is kind of my argument of tensions were up, they came down, tensions went up again. Once again, simmering, but in a vacuum, not the easiest thing to swallow, which is why that CPI report of today was so important. So all of that relative to the past couple weeks, relative to the commentary we have from Trump, I would say this was all normal. This is the point where he started crashing out. And even this one, I'll give it to him. This one is kind of in his realm of normality. He's just calling out publications that he believes are not representing reality, or I should say what he deems to be reality. The Wall Street Journal, one of the worst and most inaccurate editorial boards in the world, stated that I declared premature victory in Iran. Actually, it is a victory. But you have to understand, in my mind, when I got to this point, like Wall Street Journal said that I declared premature victory in Iran. Right away in my head, I went into like a middle school girl voice, or maybe that SpongeBob voice where he's like, actually, it is a victory and there's nothing premature about it. Well, nothing screams you won by like what? You having to go to social media and scream that you actually won. Because of me, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, and very quickly you'll see oil start flowing with or without the help of Iran. And to me, it makes no difference either way. The Wall Street Journal will, as usual, live to eat their words. They are always quick to criticize, but never admit when they are wrong, which is most of the time. Oddly enough, I actually do agree with Trump on this one, that once again, I always just come back to the superiority of the strength of the U.S. military, that we could pretty much do what we want in a military conflict at any given time. So I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying it's like it starts to make other people who are maybe less informed start to question if it, because you're like so like oddly needing to defend it, which I think is like a bit weird. I like, it's just, dude, you're in control of the U.S. military. It's the strongest military in the war, or in the world, second to none. Like, this idea of needing to respond to an individual publication, like, it's just not a good look. And once again, this particular one, like the other two, I would say they're still in the realm of normal Trump updates. But then something happened last night, right around dinner time, that he really did start to crash out, and it got crazy. Look at this. He was just, imagine how quick his fingers were going, dude. They were probably going so quick on the phone that we saw like little smoke puffs coming on. But basically, some of his original OG supporters, he's basically saying, you're stupid, you're wrong, and your family knows you're stupid and you're wrong. So this is not fake like the moon. This is real. I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years, especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the number one state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon, because they have one thing in common: low IQs. So, like I said, if you rewind a couple of years, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones were probably four of the most prominent voices saying, yeah, Donald Trump should be president. Fast forward to now, and he is saying that they have low IQs. They're stupid people. They know it. Their families know it. And everyone else knows it too. Look at their past. Look at their record. They don't have what it takes, and they never did. They've all been thrown off of television, lost their shows, and aren't even invited on TV because no one cares about them. They're nut jobs, troublemakers, and will say anything necessary for some quote-unquote free and cheap publicity. Now they think they can get some clips because they have the third-rate podcast, but nobody talking about them, and their views are the opposite of MAGA, or I wouldn't have won the presidential election in a landslide. part of the reason why he won, and I'm not saying exclusively, but obviously the people we're talking about did help get votes for him. So it's kind of an interesting situation. It's also really, really difficult to say that they have third-rate podcasts where actually some of the views allotted to Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones actually put them like literally at the top of the list. So it's one thing if you don't agree with them. It's one thing if you want to call them stupid, that's fine. But there are some objective measures here, and to call it a third-rate podcast, like all 4 of those people pull in serious views, like serious views. Now, I'm not saying you have to agree with them. I'm not even saying that they're right. And maybe they are, I don't know, their IQ tests. Maybe they do have low IQs. But the one thing we can objectively measure here is this concept of them being third rate. They're not. They really, really are. In terms of just the social media space, they crush it. And actually, some of them, their views are going to be more than the mainstream media shows that they used to be on. Like some of them get crazy views. So that part I think is objectively wrong. But wait, there is actually a considerable amount more. MAGA agrees with me and just gave CNN a 100% approval rating of Trump. That's the dumbest thing ever, to believe that anyone ever has a 100% approval rating. To think that you can get 100% agreement on anything in this day and age is the dumbest thing ever. So if you deeply believe that Trump has a 100% approval rating according to CNN, I mean, I have a bridge to sell you. That's just silly. Like, no one agreed. There's no possible way you can have 100% agreement on anything in this day and age, especially when it comes to the approval rating of the president. That is crazy. If you believe that, come on, man. Maybe that's really where we're starting to find a little bit of the low IQ. Anyway, not hand-flailing fools like Tucker Carlson, who couldn't even finish college. He was a broken man when he got fired from Fox and has never been the same. Perhaps he should see some psychiatrist, or Megyn Kelly, who nastily asked me the now famous only Rosie O'Donnell question, or crazy Candace Owens. Well, first of all, hang on. The Rosie O'Donnell question was actually probably one of the funniest clips ever. So I don't know if I would be on her about it, because that clip lives rent-free in my brain. That is the clip that made me realize that President Trump has like the timing of a real high-quality comedian. I don't know if I would attack her for that. If you guys don't know the clip, it was basically president, or at that point, I think he was a presidential hopeful. So basically she was saying, Mr. Trump, what do you have to say to the potential women voters? Because you've been on record calling women pigs. And he takes a second, a high quality beat, and he looks at her. He's like, no, just Rosie O'Donnell, which was fucking hilarious, dude. Like, honestly, I don't know if you could attack her for that, because that was one of his funniest responses ever. Anyway, her question of crazy Candace Owens. To be fair, she does actually seem to be going crazy. He accuses the highly respected First Lady of France of being a man when she is not, and will hopefully win lots of money in the ongoing lawsuit. Actually, to me, the First Lady of France is a far more beautiful woman than Candace. In fact, it's not even close. Well, that's just objectively wrong. If you look at the two, like, come on, like, all right, come on. Or bankrupt Alex Jones, who says some of the dumbest things and lost his entire fortune, as he should have, for his horrendous attack on the families of Sandy Hook shooting victims. Yeah, that was legitimately bad. Ridiculously claiming it was a hoax. These so-called pundits are losers, and they have always and will be. Now fake news CNN, the failing New York Times, and all of the other radical left news organizations are hailing them and giving them positive press for the first time in their lives. They're not MAGA, they're losers, and they're trying to latch on to MAGA. As president, I could get them on my side anytime I want to, but when they call, I don't return their calls because I'm too busy on world and country affairs. And after a few times, they go nasty, just like Marjorie Taylor Brown. Wait, wouldn't that be? He calls. Wait. It's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why did he call her Brown? Is that like another joke? Is that like another riff on her name? Am I missing one? Candace is not attractive whatsoever. If you think Candace is less attractive than the First Lady of France, you like Wyoming, let me send you glasses. That wasn't, no one said just in a general sense, it was the comparison between the two. And if you think a lady, in her 30s is somehow less attractive than, how old is she? Like 60s or 70s? That's crazy. Like, once again, you're just getting spun up. You're just getting spun up because you have to reiterate whatever you're told to reiterate. the statement was that Candace Owens is less attractive than the First Lady of France. That's objectively an inaccurate take. Clearly, it's an inaccurate take. Anyway, I don't know why I thought it was Marjorie. This, I'm sure, is just some sort of name play to be demeaning in one way or another. But anyway, but I no longer care about this stuff. I only care about doing right for the country. Clearly, you care a lot, dude. Look at this. This is a book. This is a novel. Obviously, you very much care. MAGA is about winning in strength and is not allowing Iran to have nuclear weapons. MAGA is about making America great again. And these people have no idea how to do that, but I do, because the United States is now the hottest country anywhere in the world. Clearly, he cares. And this is what all the Gen Zers would call a little bit of a mentee B, a little bit of a breakdown, a little bit of a crash out. And it obviously did not stop there, because randomly we got a sponsored photo. So if you guys don't know, the UFC is actually putting on an event on the White House lawn. But what I find fascinating about this is, hey, if you want to promote it, because it is a cool event, I'll be watching it. I'm not saying that. But this is sponsored. Like, the president of the United States, there's a couple things he's done in the financial arena, like I'm saying with his personal financials, that I just don't agree with, namely the meme coin, the Trump coin, the Melania coin. Anyone who agrees with that or thinks that was acceptable, you're just retarded. And then this one's not as bad, but it's sponsored. The president of the United States is taking on a casino sponsorship. Does anyone else think that that is weird, at all? I mean, I just in personal finances, the meme coin stuff, I don't know anyone who would agree with that. And if you do agree with that, you're just a sycophant. And now this one, granted, it's not as bad. I would say this is a lower thing. Stake is it's an online gambling company intentionally targeting younger people, and the president is posting this that's a strange thing to do, man. I thought you said you were busy running the free world, right? I thought you were focused on, I don't know, making the U.S. Stronger and safer and more secure and making sure Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. And you're posting sponsored photos of a casino? That's crazy. That's legitimately crazy. I would love for anyone to try to defend it, just so I could probably make fun of you. Because what is the defense of that? Dude, you're the president. I understand posting and hyping up the event. You don't need to post a casino sponsorship with it. Grifter's gonna grift? Maybe so. Iran keeps hold over Hormuz ahead of ceasefire talks. So more on important stuff and not just presidential crash out. This is actually globally impactful, obviously to the safety of the world, but obviously global economy and thus the U.S. economy. And as I read to you, and fair, this part was legitimately fair from President Trump of saying, dude, I'm not happy with how Iran is running the show. Trump demands reopening of Hormuz ahead of the U.S.-Iran peace talks.
We mentioned about how there was indications that they went through through the Strait of Hormuz, but we're not sure how successful those sort of voyages were.
Yeah, I think it was about 22 hours ago, we were tracking this specific story, because I think we were just talking about that with Stephen, right? To what would constitute for markets something that would indicate that the strait is open, whether or not they paid fees or what have you. So these three vessels, actually, one we understand was carrying Iraqi oil, and you have these three, of course. That's the Strait of Hormuz, by the way.
Iran is up top.
And of course, the other
Oman is right here. UAE is over here.
A non-Chinese UAE vessel, for example, also crossed would be another good indication of that. So far, what they've done is they've come up all the way up until the strait, but they have not transverted through as well in as far as the three goes. Okay, so in fact, I think we have another version of this, which actually shows you the map. So we have the three, this is the UAE, and there they are. There's the strait, and they are still, as you can see, where they were effectively this time yesterday. And this is data, by the way, that as of the last hour and a half. So it's fairly updated, and of course, suffice to say, we'll be keeping a very close eye on these three ships, three vessels. Costco, I think, is one of the vessels that operates.
Costco?
Yeah. We'll continue to track it.
Yeah.
It seems like we got to track it for that.
If we see any movement.
A great tool to have, really, as we kind of gauge where we are in the Strait of Hormuz here right now.
So I'm sharing that to show that even though we're getting some good news and the equities market is representing that everything's hunky-dory, it is very much not hunky, nor is it dory. So please pay attention to all of that today. And right here, U.S. races to keep Israel's fight in Lebanon from derailing the ceasefire. Trump asks Netanyahu to limit attacks against Hezbollah. Does anyone find it weird at all? I mean, I know for the longest time there were many, many people such as, who is it? Who did he crash out on? Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, and who else? Megyn Kelly. That they were all like, hey, why are we doing so much work for Israel? Can't Israel take care of their own problems? And even this, like, at a certain point, it is legitimately disrespectful that Israel is Israel because of us. We pay for everything. We are their defense. Without the U.S., Israel is not Israel. And the fact that Israel is going through certain steps to potentially risk the ceasefire that we are trying to pull off, that is fucking insane. That is legitimately insane. And I know many of you in chat, maybe you like what I'm saying, maybe you don't, maybe you're pointing out this, that, the other thing. I'm saying no, just this one event. Israel is only Israel because of us. The U.S. is trying to coordinate a ceasefire, and Israel is putting the ceasefire at risk. That is legitimately fucking nuts. Like, that is insane. You would think, just out of like respect for the fact that they're a country because we say they can be a country, they'd be like, okay, cool. Like, we're going to wait for a little bit because we are told to wait. Like, the fact that Netanyahu can just pop off and do things that are obviously against the interests of the U.S. right now, that blows my mind. Absolutely blow their mind. We're not their defense. We supply a good portion of their army. Yeah. Okay. So that's still because of us. Like, you're not disproving what I'm saying at all. But the fact that we supply that and also just give them money and help them in many, many ways. And right now they are continuing to proceed with actions that could risk the ceasefire we are trying to do. Like, that's insane. That doesn't seem so good. That doesn't seem so good whatsoever. With all of this, obviously, on less of an important thing, we know, like, I know we're here to trade and talk about the economy, but obviously there are lives at stake. So I'm still putting the movement of the market as less of an important measure. But with that, obviously, you, me, and everyone who has access to Twitter has been paying attention to how some people are seemingly making really good bets. And then on top of that, they happen to be first-time bets, second-time bets. They come in, make an account, make a bet a couple minutes before a huge announcement is made. They make a bunch of money, and then we never hear from them again. And apparently, the White House is actually starting to get legitimately pissed. White House warned staff not to place bets on prediction markets amid Iran war. Well-timed bets about the war in Iran have raised eyebrows and calls from Democrats for more regulation. I don't know who would disagree with it. And it's not just been the Iran thing. Actually, now for years, maybe many months, maybe 2 years, with these prediction markets and also in the options market and in the crypto market, we could track all this stuff, that there has been very perfectly timed bets that, unless they are the luckiest person in the world, they obviously have insider information. Now, am I saying that Trump is doing this personally? No, like, I highly doubt that he is. But obviously someone in his circle, and I don't know how many rungs away, with access to this information. It could be the roommate of the speechwriter. I don't know what it is, or the speechwriter, or the chief. I don't know who, but someone is clearly, no one could get this lucky. And we're seeing it time and time again that something is happening. And I guess I applaud the Democrats for calling for this, but I think this is a thing that all politicians and all people should be calling for. It's like, dude, what the fuck? You're front running this news? It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely insane. And I don't think it's going to be slowing down anytime soon. President Xi of China tells Taiwan's main opposition chief that China wants peace and unification. So we're seeing some movement on the Taiwan-China front, which I think is interesting timing because after the whole Iran situation calms down, the next big thing is either going to be Cuba, maybe, but more importantly, and kind of already scheduled, is going to be our little chit-chats with China. So obviously, Treasury Secretary Bissett is already scheduled to meet his counterpart in China, and the then from there, it should be setting up the official meeting between President Trump and President Xi. So the stage is being set. And if you ask me, and this is a little bit tinfoil conspiracy, I think all these moves in Iran and Venezuela have a lot more to do with China than they do with Iran and Venezuela. That's just me. I fully understand that that is tinfoil hat theory type of stuff. It's just how I see the situation. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get some craziness from that. China's Xi invokes threat of Taiwan independence in first cross-strait opposition talks in a decade. The meeting Friday marked the first such encounter between Xi and a sitting opposition leader since 2016. U.S. President Donald Trump, military action in Venezuela and Iran, along with the threats over Greenland, have prompted some to draw parallels with Beijing's posture towards Taiwan. But analysts say that the risk of near-term aggression from Beijing remains limited. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but something to pay attention to. Trump once played tough with China, now he's playing nice. The administration has quietly scraped its previous playbook, adopting a more conciliatory approach to Beijing. Right now, this is all initial stuff. We're going to be finding out a lot more in the next 2 months because this is going to be the next chapter. I understand for a second there, how did it go? I guess it was Mexico for a second, then it was Venezuela, now it's Iran. After Iran, well, it kind of started with Greenland, and we might be circling back to that. But the next big chapter is probably going to be whatever craziness comes out of our chit-chats with China, so please pay attention to that. And not so long ago, the biggest story was Ukraine and Russia. Apparently that's still going on, but it might be coming to an end soon. And I kind of feel bad for this, but I kind of forgot it was a whole thing. Zelensky's top aide sees Ukraine nearing a deal with Putin. Yeah, it's still going on, which is absolutely insane. I think there's been so many iterations of global turmoil that many people have forgotten about this. And maybe the fact that people have kind of forgotten about it, maybe that'll be a little bit of an impetus for both sides to just come to an end here. I mean, this started in 22, I want to say, right? Mid 22, early 22. So the fact that we're still here in the start of 2026 is actually kind of crazy. So just another thing to put on your radar. Bringing it home to the U.S., especially as we just got an inflation report. Remember, next month, the month of May, is going to be the last month for the current Fed chair, Mr. Jerome Powell, and Kevin Warsh should be taking over. Kevin Warsh Fed chair confirmation plan hits a snag as nomination hearing is delayed. A Senate hearing for the Federal Reserve chair nominee, Kevin Warsh, won't be held next week as planned. A little bit of an issue. The committee set to hear Warsh's nomination hasn't received the paperwork that it needs with enough time to schedule the hearing. The Trump administration is hoping to get Warsh to replace Chair Jerome Powell by mid-May, but the timeline is looking challenging. Senator Tom Tillis is refusing to vote for any Fed nominee until the Department of Justice drops a criminal probe into Powell. So Powell, that was the whole thing about the buildings and the funding for the buildings. And then also there's a different one going on for Lisa Cook and her mortgages and that type of stuff. So this is a Republican saying, hey, we're not going to do it. So this could be causing some issues. I just want to put it on your radar because in about 2 weeks, this might become a serious issue. So just wanted to throw that out there. Now, drilling into today specifically, we did get an inflation update at 8:30 this morning. I don't know, roughly 40 minutes ago. The expectation was higher than expected, and then we actually came in lower than that very high expectation. So in the short term, that was a positive piece of news, but in the long term for inflation, obviously inflation is still higher than it should be. I also want to let you know that at 10 a.m. today, we are getting another data drop, this time the preliminary consumer sentiment. So if you are trading roughly around that 30-minute Orbo, if you're trading that 10 a.m. reversal, this might be something that you want to keep in mind. Very quickly, with respect to individual equities, we are not in earnings season. There are still some earnings plays you might care about, you might not care about, but I just wanted to put on your radar that there's some very interesting movement in the world of AI still. TSMC, speaking of Taiwan, posts 35% jump in revenue to new record as AI chip demand stays strong. So as much of the market is still floundering and you can find very, very weak situations such as, where's Microsoft? Microsoft, not looking good at all. Palantir starting to really break down. There are even Tesla really starting to take a hit. On the flip side, there's actually ones that are still looking very, very strong. TSM, very strong, almost at an all-time high. Avago, strong recovery. where's AMD? AMD looking pretty good. If you look at ASML, looking very good. There are certain plays within the semiconductor sphere, these processing chips, that are looking very, very strong. So I just wanted to point that out to you. So some of you may be looking to buy the strength of this dip. You might want to look at this particular subsector of the semiconductors. And back to what CNBC was alluding to, crazy development in the world of AI. And this one really relates to the current power of AI, which kind of reminds me of the Dragon Ball Z of like it levels over 9,000. Anthropic model scare sparks urgent Bessent and Powell meeting to bank CEOs. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell summoned Wall Street leaders to an urgent meeting on concerns that Anthropic's PBC's latest artificial intelligence model will usher an era of greater cyber risk. It is called Mythos, and apparently it is jacked up on steroids. The meeting was to make sure banks are aware of possible future risks raised by Anthropic's Mythos and are taking precautions to defend their systems, according to people familiar with the matter. Regulators considered the possibility of a new breed of cyber attacks as one of the biggest risks facing the financial industry, with Anthropic's Mythos being a more powerful system capable of identifying and exploiting vulnerabilities in major operating systems and web browsers. And the initial tests are suggesting that it is incredibly powerful. In fact, it's so powerful that it literally required an urgent meeting of the Treasury Secretary, the chair, the Fed chair, and Wall Street leaders and banks to sit down and basically say, you gotta get prepared, and you gotta get prepared now, because this stuff is crazy. Fascinating story just from kind of the software engineering standpoint. Kind of blows my mind. I really dove into the rabbit hole of this particular story just because I found it insane that AI is not only this capable, but it's getting this capable this quickly. And this is just now. Imagine where we're going to be at the end of this year. Imagine where we're going to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. This stuff is insane. Folks, there are many, in my humble opinion, there are many people who are going to get left behind in this AI wave. You're going to have a bunch of people who, for one reason or another, are not going to adopt AI and the usefulness, the utility of AI into their life. And then there's going to be a group of people who do. And every single day, that little chasm, the difference between them is going to grow and grow and grow. And when you extrapolate that out for years, the people who are not adopting are going to fall very far behind, not only in the skill set in the workplace, but in life, financially. Folks, I promise you, whether you do or don't use it, every single day, you should try to learn a little bit more about how you can actively utilize AI in your life. It is not the next big thing. It is the big thing right now in real time. And it's going to be the next big thing and the next big thing and the next big thing. It's going to get more and more powerful. So whether you want to use it for trading, for scheduling, for dieting, for your work, whatever it is, folks, jump into it. There's no way that you're going to regret the effort you're putting in now to better utilize AI, because like I said, it's not the next big thing. It is the current big thing, and it's going to be the next big 5 things together. And I don't want to see any of you falling behind. All right, bringing it specifically to active trading for the day. Well, the first thing you need to know is it is a Payday Friday. So if you haven't already, all you have to do is go to my Twitter page. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. My mod will put it in chat, but all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow, and you will. That's how you enter into your chance at one of 10 prop accounts. And then obviously the 10 people selected will also be in a marble race for $150 of cold hard cash. Basically, I want to pay for your bar tab this weekend. So we're going to be giving away 5 Lucid accounts, which are SIM-to-funded futures accounts, and then we're giving away 5 Vanquish accounts, which are SIM-to-funded options accounts. So whether you're a futures trader or an options trader, I got you covered. We're giving away 10 of those prop accounts today. All of the winners of the prop accounts will be put in the marble race for some cold, hard cash. So if you haven't already, all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. It is free. This is not something you have to pay to be in. The competition, the giveaway, the raffle, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be partly on Twitter, partly on Discord. So if you happen to be in Discord, you can double dip. If you happen to be on Twitter, well, maybe you want to get into the Discord so you could double dip there. So just want to call that out to everyone. Obviously, the 5 futures accounts are from Lucid. Lucid is a SIMDA-funded firm that I really enjoy. I'm currently waiting to go live with them. Not only did I have evals, I had funded, got paid out $51,000. From that $51,000, they basically said, hey man, you're doing too well. We need to push you live. And I heard from my rep at Lucid that I might be going live as early as today. Then on the flip side, we have Vanquish. Remember, Vanquish is SIMDA-funded options. Right now, code Goonie. So Lucid, if you want the account, obviously code Goonie. Vanquish, same thing, code Goonie. 40% off at Lucid, 50% off at Vanquish. And Vanquish, here's my account from last time where Sean really helped me out. And I guess we could do that again today. So someone remind me right before the market opens. We'll do another DGen market open trade on Vanquish and see if we could run this total up a little bit more. Not really the most important thing of today's show, but if you want to trade with me, if you want to get mentored by me, if you want to trade with me while getting mentored with me with a cool community of people, GoonieTrading.com. Of course, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, just come to the contact page. This directly comes to me and I'll do my best to get back to you right away, basically. So anyway, specifically for today, these are all the major levels I'm watching. Just so you know, if the market were to open right now, we would be trading at 6834. Yesterday, we closed at 24. So we're actually looking at a little bit of a push, obviously pre-market, a little bit of green. We're basically at the high from yesterday. There is a downside gap fill on the Qs. We're right at the high on the SPYs. So you might want to be a bit mindful of that on the NASDAQ. There is a small downside gap fill to 610.50, which is about $1.10. So maybe I shouldn't call it small. Oil's chilling at 98, Bitcoin's chilling at 72, and vol is coming down. It's actually now below 20. So I'm obviously seeing some bulls in control. 5 minutes bullish. Let me zoom in on that one. 5 minutes bullish. 30-minute is looking good. 10-minute is looking good. The 4-hour is getting some nice, legitimate technical breakouts. So I'm liking that as well. Actually, we have to redraw some of this. We're getting so much movement. Let me draw, we'll bring this one up here to see if there's a random reversion. So across the board, just with respect to momentum, so we already know structure is recovering. We're starting to see higher highs and higher lows. Awesome. That's good. With respect to momentum, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4-hour is all bullish. All prices above the cloud. The clouds are green and prices above all those 50 EMAs. Looking at the NASDAQ, pretty much a similar situation. You have the 5 minute, the 10 minute, the 30 minute, and the 4-hour all bullish. All the clouds are green. Prices above all those 50 EMAs. Obviously, the daily is looking very similar. And in fact, we're looking so similar that there is a bit of a gap up. But right here on the daily, you can see we recovered above the cloud. We're above the 50 EMA. We're above the 200 SMA. That is also true for the S&P 500. Yes, there are large gaps to the downside on both of those, but that doesn't necessarily have to get filled today. And the chance of the gap getting filled right away when it's news driven is less. And obviously the news here is the apparent ceasefire, the fragile ceasefire with Iran. That was the news driver for this gap up. And it does look as if the Qs are going to have another bit of a gap up this morning. So just want to put that on your radar. I need to redraw this. I want to mark out the overnight trading session high and low. Those are very, very popular levels to target. So I always put those up. This is for NQ. So for any of my futures traders, for anyone ripping, I don't know, Tradeify, Take Profit, Legends, anything like that, I do like to know these levels. In fact, let me set an alert, add alert, exiting rectangle. So it looks like the pre-market low was 25,192, and we hit that around 7 p.m. last night. And then the high was following that CPI report from 8:30 this morning, and that's around 25,385. So watch those extremes, and obviously the midway point is 25,289. So for those of you trading futures, trading NQ, pay attention to that. Those of you trading SPX in any capacity, these are my key levels of the day. As I always do, I mark out the previous high, low, and close. That is the green, the red, and the white. The white box is the transition zone, thought to be bullish above, bearish below, choppy within. And then the final thing are these horizontal yellow lines, which just happens to be where the big money is at. So we have quite a bit more positive gamma than we normally have. There's a big positive gamma node at 6825. Actually, I should start at the bottom. It goes 6,800, 6825, 6850, 6,870. And then you have another call wall here up at 6,900. So basically today, with respect to SPX, and remember, even if you're trading SPY, that's fine, but the big players are always going to be trading SPX. So whatever, if you want to, like, they're going to be correlated to the tune of like 99.9%. So if you want to execute your trades on SPY because you like those options or the price, whatever, but you should still be watching the SPX levels because it's the SPX levels that actually matter. And today's really easy to remember. 6,800, 6,825, 6,850. It's just every 25. And then this one's a little off. It's 70. So instead of 75, and then 6,900. So in terms of the levels, I'm seeing a lot of positive gamma. We can look at the delta map, the delta pressure. This is pretty bullish. Positive pressure below, negative pressure above. So looking at a little bit of upward movement. Charm's not really going to matter too much right now. I'm going to wait for more time to decay. Remember, charm is the second order derivative of time. So that really comes into play closer. But out of the gate, I'm seeing some interest up here at 6,875. If we do sell off all the way down here at the bottom, which I am blocking with my big head, my apologies. There's a big node down here. But the thing that catches my eye, and once again, take this with a grain of salt because the market's not even open. And remember, all this stuff, whether you're looking at the charm map, the delta map, or the gamma map, all of this changes based on real-time trades. So what I'm saying right now could end up becoming null and void based on trades throughout the day. So just want to remind everyone of that. But for right now, stability is higher than normal. We have positive gamma. We have clear targets. And really for me, the clear target out of the day is I just want to see a push to 50. My assumption, just guessing, and I hate predicting here, is that if we do pop out of the gate, which remember, the NASDAQ does have a downside gap fill, but let's say that happens, or it does or it doesn't, we break out of the high from yesterday, I'm looking at a test of 50, a rejection, and then I would love to see the follow through to 70. That is my base bull case. My bear case would be basically we push downward, we fail the green to red test, we fail at yesterday's close at 24, and then we push to 6,800, and then from there I would be reevaluating to see if buyers are stepping in or not. So that would be my base bear case. Right now, I have to admit my bias is bullish because I see green, 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 green. Oh, whoa. Well, hello there, Tiger. You ready to trade for the day? Are you bullish or bearish? The chat wants to know. The chat, oh, dude, she's just trying to say hi. This is her new thing. She loves hopping up on the back of the chair every morning. Come on. We got to work. We got to work. Oop. Come on. Just chill. Just chill, brother. Just chill. Dude, cats are the coolest little things ever. If you guys hate your life and don't have a cat, maybe you should go get a cat. Like, I'm not saying it's going to fix all the problems in your life, but I'm saying it's going to fix most of the problems in your life by just go get the cat distribution system is a very, very generous system in this world. So maybe if something in your life is off and you just want to somehow improve it, go get a cat, dude. These are the funniest little creatures. They're basically little wild animals. Like, that's just a little micro tiger. You can't do this to a real tiger. Tigers are far too big to just pick up and pet per day. But if you go get yourself a little cat, you have a little micro panther in your house with you. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. I've never been more protected from government birds in my life. And I don't even know why I prefaced it by saying government birds when obviously all birds are clearly from the government. But this is my security system. Like, legitimately, the best way I fight from the government surveillance is I hire this little thing. I let her go crazy and she just murders all those surveillance drones for me. It's insane. So it's just a safe way. It's a very reasonable way to increase your safety and your security by taking out those government drones. Where was I on the market anyway? All right, we have about 5 minutes to go. My security system is in submarine mode, and every so often you're just going to see her. Dude, just chill. Come here. Come on. I feel like she doesn't respect that I'm like literally working right now. Imagine if this happened in any normal corporate setting. You brought your cat into work and you're on a Zoom call with the president of your company and your cat's tail is just popping up. You can't do this in normal America. You can't do this. Come on, dude. Just chill. Stop scratching yourself on the microphone. Some of us have to work. All right, Piper, please just nap. It's a little early for a nap time. That's why she's freaking out, she's just freaking out. Where are we at? Okay, let me zoom in. Let's get ready on the day. I gave you my bull case, my bear case. I'm more than willing to play either, but if I had to guess right now, well, not have to guess, based on all the evidence we have, the bulls are in control. They control price structure, momentum, and options flow at this moment in time. Can that change? Of course it can change. That's what the market does. It changes a lot, but taking a snapshot of the current information, that is what's going on. Right here, there's the momentum, there's the structure, and then obviously we already took a little looky-see at options. So yes, the bull camp is in control. They are in the driver's seat. Today is their day to lose. So maybe they will. Maybe there's a crazy update. There's things that you can't predict. But as of now, I would say that if I had to guess, the bulls are more likely to win the day than the bears. But let's see. On that note, just the one counterpoint is there is a downside gap fill, $1 below where we currently are on the Qs. We're currently trading at 611.50. The downside gap fill on the NASDAQ, or the ETF tracking the NASDAQ QQQ, is 610.50. So it's $1 below where we currently are. So just wanted to call that out to everyone. Like I said, today is a Payday Friday. All you have to do is like, retweet, and follow, and you are in the giveaway. Obviously, this is going to be partially run on Twitter, partially run on the Discord. If you are in the Goonie Trading Discord, I will tag everyone when we're doing it. It's going to be around 10:30 today. So roughly an hour from now, depending on how my trading is actually going. But shout out to Lucid, shout out to Vanquish. Lucid is for sim to funded futures. Vanquish is for sim to funded options. We're giving away 10 of those accounts in total. Lucid 40% off with code Goonie. Vanquish 50% off with code Goonie, which kind of brings me to my first question for you guys of the day. Here's my Vanquish account. We had a nice gain last time we did this, 2 Fridays ago, up about $2,000. So at market open, I am not asking you on the day. I'm asking you from 9:30 to 9:31, the first minute of the day. Are you bullish or are you bearish? Once again, this is not a prediction for the entire day. I'm asking you exactly at market open, what is the first movement going to be? Because I either need to buy calls or I need to buy puts. Which one is it? Purple up, bullish, bull, pop, bear, bullish, bearish, bullish, green, bullish, down, bullish, slight down, bullish, bearish first, calls, bull, bearish, bullish. I think it's slightly more bulls. Okay, so I have to go that way. Where are we trading right now? We're trading at 6835. So what we're going to do is get the 6835. Why is this so? Okay, there we go. 6835. Am I on the right day? 6835. 6835. Where's the expiration date? Yeah, okay, April 10th. 6835 right here. Buy. I'm gonna do this right at market open. 10 market. Okay, we're ready to go. So I'm gonna buy the 6835s. That's the at the money calls, 10 of them. And we're going to see if we can get a $2 gain, which would be $2,000 out of the gate. I have the right account. Here's the time. All right. So I'm going to attempt to do this right at market open. So wait. Okay. I'm going to do it right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Did it. Close with single order. I got to fill at 1350. Why? I need, boom, right there, 2.3K. I got a little bit of extra, a little bit of sweet sauce. There you go. Oop, hang on. Hang on. Are you guys going to see my password? That was really quick today. Nice. Okay. 2.3K locked in. What a day. Oh, hang on. Why is this? I thought this was the options flow. Yeah, you guys saw it. 2.3K. So for everyone who voted bullish, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hang on. I'm trying to get this up as quickly as I can because we're actually getting some crazy movement right out of the gate. There's the Mag 7. Okay, there's that. Okay, cool. Here's this flow. You're going to get that update. Let's do that every minute. Let's zoom in a little bit more. I'm seeing a lot of trades hit the tape already. Wow. If you are joining in a little bit late, I did trade early this morning around 7:15 for a quick 10 points. And on top of that, then I locked in 2.3 on Vanquish. So once again, to everyone who told me to be bullish, thank you. That was the easiest 2K ever. So that's a good start to a Payday Friday. And then right here, as you can see, I'm trading 16 accounts. I'm trading 5 funded legends, 5 evals on Tradeify, 5 evals on Take Profit, and 1 funded on Tradeify. So I'm trading 6 funded accounts, obviously 9 or 10 evals, 16 in total. So that's where we're at thus far at market open. I do want to remind you, if you happen to be trading the opening session, there is a 10 a.m. consumer sentiment report, the preliminary readings for the month of April. We are above VWAP, the session VWAP, and the regular trading hour VWAP. We are above all the major EMAs. See you, Piper. Piper's done with our shit. She was just here to help us lock in that trade, but she's literally walking. See you. But she's looking back like, do I really want to do this right now? Yep. Okay. She's going up the stairs. She's leaving us. She's leaving us there, Tonto. All right. Let's get this where we need to be. Okay. All right. We have all the data. We're looking good. We're looking groovy. There's a look at the market. I can't believe she's leaving us. We could come back to this tool. The flow did pop, giving a little back. The Mag 7 is actually going up. The NASDAQ is also going up. So that's looking good. SPY's probably a little bit of profit taking. Yeah, the calls are getting sold off. It's not puts being bought. So this dip here is people realizing their gains. Oh, there's a little bit of a downside gap fill on SPY, which we just got. I didn't realize we opened that strong, but we just tagged it. So we did get the downside gap fill on SPY. There's still a downside gap fill on QQQ to 610.50. So I want to call that out. Oil did pop, giving a little bit back. Bitcoin popping, giving a little bit back. Matt, will JPM collar position at 68.40 play resistance? Not at all, because we're not even close. That doesn't expire for another 2.5 months. So no. Timing. Remember, the dimension of time is incredibly important in the world of options. So the JP Morgan does not expire till June, literally the end of June. So the influence of it at this point is almost nothing. Like literally, it won't even really have gamma readings. A position that's 100th of the size, 1,000th of the size that is expiring today would have more influence than that position that expires in 2.5 months. Influence has a lot to do with time. And the less time you have, the closer to expiration you are, the more influence it has, especially from the perspective of market makers. So in terms of will JP Morgan's collar position have an influence today? No, it won't. And then also, I don't even know if that's the right strike. Assuming that is the right strike, and I don't think it is. Assuming it is, though. Hang on. His setup is way different than I've been. I feel so. His setup is way different than how I have been. I don't know what we're talking about. Are you talking about my setup? I'm just looking at the movement of SPY and Qs and this, that, the other thing. We did get the downside gap fill on SPY. Once again, the downside gap fill on QQQ, if you are playing that, is 610.50. If you're playing NQ, you might care about VWAP. The session VWAP is 25,274. The regular trading hours VWAP is up here at 25,339. I'm trying to keep my size reasonable today and trade one contract. Quick. I don't ask you guys for much. I don't. And I hope you guys don't mind if I ask this one thing of you, is if you were paying attention to yesterday's show, I made a lot of good decisions, and I was on the wrong side of luck. I was on the wrong side of variance. And then that caused me to actually get tilted and spiral and make bad decisions. And then I lost quite a few of my eval accounts. And then I got those evals back and I got my head straight, pulled myself out of the spiral, and did well. But I did a pretty extensive breakdown in what went right and what went wrong. Because remember, just because you lose money doesn't mean you made the wrong decision. And on the opposite side, just because you made money doesn't mean you made the right decision. And that's one of the most difficult things of trading, is to understand that you making or losing money on the individual trade is not the good or bad decision. Obviously, a succession of good decisions in the long run should make you net profitable, but on the individual trade, you can be dealt pocket aces and still lose. You can still choose to go all in on 7-2 offsuit and still win. That doesn't make it a good decision. So yesterday, I did make a series of poor decisions. First I made a series of good decisions that just didn't pay off. And then I got mad and started making bad decisions, and obviously that made the whole situation worse. But I will ask of you folks, if you don't mind, that if you see me trading and all of a sudden I don't have a stop and you're like, Matt, what are you doing? Like, where's your stop? If you guys could just yell at me endlessly, like if you guys could just spam the fuck out of chat and be like, Matt, stop loss. Because I think the biggest issue for me yesterday, not only did I spiral and start trading out of the abnormal size, even with all of that, if I had the stop at the appropriate places, I would have survived, and I ended up making a lot of money. So it was one of those things where I thought I had a mental stop. We got to that level, and I just refused to close it out. So from here on out, or until I somehow show monk-like discipline in the future, but until further notice, if you guys see me trading, if as a community, you could just yell at me, just everyone freak out and be like, Matt, we're going to ride until you get a stop on that. Actually, that's what, you know how like BLM had riots? If you guys could actually threaten riots to that level until I get a stop on my chart, I would appreciate it. If you're like, Matt, if you don't put a stop on your chart, I'm going to burn down my local Toyota dealership. Matt, I'm going to yell at my wife for literally no reason until you get a stop on your chart. Matt, I will ground my kids for actually no fucking reason whatsoever. They're going to miss a birthday party this weekend at Chuck E. Cheese unless you get a stop on your chart. Folks, I need people helping people, and I'm coming to you guys for help on this one. I need some crazy threats to get flying, and the only way to stop that is to get the stop on the chart. So just me asking you guys for a little bit of assistance, a little bit of help, and it would be greatly appreciated. I would like to think that sometimes I help you a bit, and this is one of the few times I'm going to be asking you guys for help. You mean the peaceful protests? Yes, except I want you guys to full on say we are going to violent protest unless Matt gets a stop. So let's not even try to cosplay as it being a peaceful protest. Let's legitimately go for full on violent protest. This will happen until Matt gets a stop on his chart. So just throwing that out there. I'm just asking you for a little bit of help. You will just tell us to shut the fuck up. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's tough to take good news or quality criticism in real time but we're a family. Sometimes that's going to happen. I'm not asking you to judge me at my low points when I'm mad at you guys. I'm probably going to get mad because I'm going to know you guys are right. And the frustration isn't at you. The frustration is at myself not doing what I know I should be doing. So please, if I freak out about it, understand that like sometimes it's hard to give your pet medicine because they don't know that you're trying to help them. So in those events, yeah, I'm probably lashing out at you guys because of how much I hate myself. And I don't want you guys to take it personally. Trading is a difficult thing. Obviously, we've already discussed that streaming is the most difficult job in the world. So I'm juggling two really tough things right now. So sometimes I'm going to lash out. Sometimes do you guys in chat get the brunt of it? Yeah. I'm not saying that I have perfect emotional control. I'd rather lash out at you than my cat. Obviously, I don't want to ever upset that perfect angel. So you guys are going to take the brunt of it. So yeah, sometimes you're going to have to handle a little bit of shit. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest. There are times where you guys are going to give me good advice. I'm going to call you stupid. I'm going to call you retarded. I'm going to get angry. But understand, it's not personal. It's because I hate myself. It's because I hate myself. And you know what's going to happen is you guys are going to be giving me that advice subconsciously or consciously. I'm going to know that you're right. Hopefully, I can pull myself out of that spiral. And then maybe if I make some money, I might even start giving apologies. You never know. Have I done it before? No, because I've never had a reason to apologize to you knuckleheads. But I'm not saying I'm against it. If in the future I ever am proven to be wrong, and it hasn't happened yet, but if I'm ever proven to be wrong, I'm man enough to say I was wrong. I'm man enough to apologize when it is necessary. So I just want to put that out there today. I want to put that out there that maybe, just maybe, we should take our relationship to the next level. I'm not saying we should be Facebook official. I'm not saying we should go public with it, but I think we should take our relationship to the level where we start to say, is a stop on your chart, you know? People need to grow thick skin and be fine taking some insults every now and then. I would actually take that to the next level. I think they need to grow not just metaphorically thick skin, but physically thick skin so we can assault them and it's not that big of an issue. But I assume I'm in the minority on that one. I'm looking for rhino level skin so we can just the way insults shouldn't matter to you. I think people should physically get stronger so we can assault each other, and then that's also not a problem. But that's just one of my ideas. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but it's just a little, you guys come here for a bit of out of the box thinking, and that's my out of the box idea. Do I want to take the VWAP trade? Nah. I was thinking about taking this breakdown trade here at 321. You could scale out at 300. You could scale out at 290, or you could look at 280. I was thinking about that, but it's just not really my vibe today. Hey, Matt, would you say learning options would add value to futures trading? Without a doubt. I do trade options pretty much every single day. But even without it, you need to know where the options are at, which means you need to be able to understand gamma maps, delta maps, charm pressure, open interest, condors, spreads. So yes, it makes it a lot better. All these times where I'm trading and then I'm magically calling out the highs and the lows and the reversion points, it's not magic. It's from monitoring the options market. So even if you don't want to trade options, you should learn about options, and then you should get an options analytics tool such as Spot Gamma to know where the levels are at, without a doubt. Stream sponsor ad hype. No, that was actually a question. If you want the sponsor hype, Payday Friday, retweet, and follow. Everyone listening right now, retweet, and follow. It is a free giveaway. Shout out to Lucid, code Goonie for 40% out. Shout out to Vanquish, 50% off, code Goonie. That's your ad right there. That was the Spot Gamma thing. That was yesterday. And honestly, that was me just answering the questions. Today, Matt's going to murk the market. Dude, I hope so. I'm starting to feel like I'm in the zone. I want to be more in the zone, though. I do want to be more in the zone. I want to be in the zone. Do you have a course teaching your style? No, but I do have a Discord where we talk about trading every single day. Okay, potential higher low right here. So we are shifting downward, but maybe can we get above this VWAP? Can we get above RTH VWAP? Watching a little bit of a trend line breakout. We have a higher low. We didn't hit VWAP. We also didn't get the downside gap fill. And I'm noticing that perhaps the S&P 500 is struggling on a relative basis. Interesting. What's options flow doing? What is options flow doing? What is options flow doing? Important question. All right, picking up a little bit on the Mag 7. We're also picking up a bit on the SPY. We're 15 minutes in. 15 minutes in. Oh, brother. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Oh, brother. Okay, my trade copier is on. I was getting interested in that long. Remember, 5 minute. It's holding bullish as of now. Will it continue to hold bullish? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. There's the 10. There's the 5. There's the 5. There's the 10. Here's the 4 hour. Those are some key levels from many trading sessions ago. 5 minute is testing right here on ES. 5 minute is looking good on the NASDAQ. So on a relative measurement, thus far, the NASDAQ is a bit stronger this morning. Remember, okay, we were right at 35, the high from yesterday. 50 is an interesting level, 25 is an interesting level, and 800 is an interesting level. The NASDAQ, remember the pre-market high is 386. Definitely, that's 50 points above where we are. That's an interesting level, 386. 386. I'm in.
Order filled. Order submitted.
Don't yell. Don't riot. We got the stop in. Honestly, not risking much at all. We're barely, it's actually a baby risk, you know. Before you know it, I'll be able to get this stop to break even. Don't riot. Don't riot. The stop is on the chart. I know for about 2 seconds there, it wasn't on the chart. So even if you started to yell at your wife, even if you started to threaten your children, even if you really were about to grab your manager by the tie and really let him know your thoughts on all those team meetings, you can't do it now. You can't do it now. The stop is on the chart. So I know there was a little bit of a panic, and I do appreciate you guys right away holding me accountable. Thank you. You got this, bro. Yeah, because that's generally how the market works. It's all about your personal, just like, I got this, I got this, I got this. No, like what I'm doing is I'm generically going with flow. We broke down below the VWAP. We popped above. I try to take it. I see the 50% range. I see the VWAP. I'm risking the recent low. We are going from a succession of lower highs and lower lows to higher highs and higher lows. Instead of a 50-50 shot, I would say statistically I have a 55-45 shot because I am trading with trend. So instead of flipping a quarter, I'm flipping a slightly like weighted quarter. And even if you have, let's just say it's not 55-45, maybe you don't want to believe my statistics on that, even though that's true. Let's just say, no, Matt, it's 50-50. That's fine. My risk is low. I'm risking 14 points for this to potentially run up to 86. So the risk reward is massively in my favor. I don't have to be right that often for this to be a net profitable trade, a net profitable setup. Where it goes awry is when you have risk and then you don't adhere to it, or you're sizing too big, or God forbid you put both of those together. This could be a fake out, but if it happens, if this hits me right here, it's a bummer, which is about to hit me.
Order filled.
But you could see how in control that is. It's down $100. It's down $100. Folks, you can take small hits all day, especially if you are a trend following trader, because you just need that one good trade for it to work. I tried to play this recovery. It just didn't happen. I could show you many, many examples of this exact setup leading to a gigantic rip to the upside. It just didn't happen this time. And that's fine because I kept the risk in control. That's what trading is. Yesterday, we posted a video and someone was trying to argue with me that trading isn't 50-50. It is 50-50, especially if you're day trading or scalp trading. It is a 50-50 game. The chance of the next bar being green or red is 50-50. I want to be very, very clear about that. And it's not one of these opinionated things. It is not a subjective thing. It can be back tested. We have the empirical evidence. It is an objective statement to say, especially on an intraday time frame, anything less than the daily chart, it is 50-50. 100% it is 50-50. So please understand. And if you don't believe me, fact check me, but I have done all the research on it. It is 50-50. When you go to the daily chart for something like the S&P 500, the odds do increase. It becomes 54-46. So there is a 4% edge to generically be bullish. So I suppose that's like something you could consider. But overall, it's really, really hard to get that far away from playing the 50-50 game. And I know that could sound concerning to some people, but it's not. It just means that when you are playing something, keep your risk small and manageable. And then if you are right, well, ride it as long as you can. You want to ride that trend when you are right. It's a game of fishing. We are fishing time and time again. So you want to make the hits really small, like I just did, manageable. Because right here, in one case, this could bounce back and I could go green and it could rip. And like, you could be like, oh, well, why'd you take that loss? And like, yeah, that's kind of like the aw shucks moment of like, shit, like I wish I held it. But on the flip side, what if not only did this go all the way to VWAP, what if it fails at VWAP and then breaks down and then I lose thousands and thousands of dollars? So even if 9 out of 10 times it does magically come back for you, it's that 10th time that mathematically is the issue because you blow out your account. That's a double. Do I want to try this again? What would my risk be? My risk is manageable. Right here. I would love to actually get a fill right at 30. I don't know if it's going to give me that opportunity. We'll see. Joke's on you, Matt. We don't care if you lose thousands of dollars. Fair enough. We are all in this game ourselves. I don't blame you for not caring. We're right at this VWAP again.
Order filled.
We almost dipped to it. That's why I entered it right there, because we almost dipped to it. We got to 31.50. Long live Piper. Thanks for the last 5 years of streaming my once a year self-plug. Check out Cosmic Vagabonds for my show about fun, geeky stuff and stream, of course, you crazy kids. Shout out Mike Kimmel. Once again, at Cosmic Vagabonds. Shout out Mike. Oh, stop loss. Thank you, dude. I almost forgot it. Jesus.
Order submitted.
Dude, this is why Mikey, I am Monkey. I always want to call you Mikey. I am Money, I think is your name. I see, literally, I already got distracted. That wasn't even intentional. That wasn't a bit. That wasn't a test. That wasn't. This is why I pay you guys the big bucks, because like a monkey, I just get distracted, dude. Someone sends in a super chat and shout out Mike. That's very, very kind of you. I saw a big orange block and I was like, I should read that. But actually, let me make sure this stop is in the right spot. It is potentially not. It is in the right spot. Never mind. Scratch that. We're good. The one thing that I don't love about this is we still have the downside gap fill. That doesn't mean it has to get filled. And if it does, it could get filled later. So there could still be that ripper up to 86. The main play I'm looking at right now is that push to 86. And obviously, if I kept this very first position, I'd be back to break even. But
connection lost.
No. Where did I lose connection to? Where did I lose connection to? If you are Never mind. I thought I got a fill on public in the swingers. If you're in the Discord, let me just double check. I might have gotten a fill. I don't think so. No, I didn't. So the two swing plays, the one for April 22nd and the one for April 23rd, they're close. The April 22nd one is really close to getting a fill. If we get a nice pump today, we should be good. What is this low? 19. Do I want to risk 22, 25, or do I want to lower it to 19? No, I'll leave it here. Maybe I even want to move it up a little bit, because if it doesn't hold this, like, what's the chance of it doing what I need it to do? Maybe we'll do 24.50. Obviously, I'm looking at this higher low, which led to a double bottom, and now I'm seeing the consolidation. Once again, you're flipping a quarter. Does it break out or break down? I'm giving a slight edge to the bulls because momentum is positive. We could take a quick look at options flow. I've been doing a bad job at that today. S&P 500 is up, and away. Mag 7 is actually kind of taking a hit. I don't like that. The NASDAQ just took a little bit of a hit, and it's really close to knocking me out. Really close to knocking me out here. Just too much consolidation. Do I want to give it a bit more room? I really don't, because we still have the downside gap fill. And if I'm going to get knocked out, I'd rather get knocked out for a very small, manageable hit. Maybe I get lucky here. Maybe. That's a big maybe. We have a little bit of this trend to pay attention to. We have a little bit of this trend to pay attention to. This is getting uncomfortably close. Maybe I get defended by this VWAP. Maybe I get defended by the 50% of the range, but I just
Order filled.
Knocked right there. So actually, would it have... Dude, if I move that up, where was my initial one? I think it would have knocked me out, actually. No, not quite. Well, hang on. Yeah, it would have knocked me out anyway. Actually, it gave me a fill there because of a little bit of slippage. We'll see. It's just right now we're pinned to VWAP, and I just don't. Of course, that's my luck right there. But wait, why does it say I don't think I'm in a trade? It's because of a disconnection. Shit. Hang on. We're having connection issues. Okay, and we're good. And we're good. What's the flow? Flow's improving, but overall, just consolidating. I do want to remind you that at 10 a.m., consumer sentiment. So that's in 2 minutes, 120 seconds. And then, but right now, you can see we are perfectly being pinned to the regular trading hours VWAP. We're getting pinned to the 50% mark in between the current intraday high and low. So it's at a point of equilibrium. If you hold it, I just wish you the best of luck. So I'm just waiting for this 10 a.m. announcement to come out, and then we'll go from there. So right there, it would be a worse loss. So, I mean, that was taking a good L, honestly. But right now, I had one winning trade today, two losing trades today, small losing trades, keeping it in control. Nothing too crazy, I guess, really. Trying to trade with momentum and trying to keep my risk in control. All right, what time is it? 1 minute. 1 minute. Report comes out at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Do you guys think it's going to be bullish or bearish? Bullish or bearish? Which way are we going? Which way are we going? Here's a look on the 1 minute. 1 minute was trying to hold bullish this whole time. I guess the people who came in at 300 here, that wasn't the worst idea. It seemingly worked out. At least on this first push, long at 300, you could ride it to 350. Not a bad deal. No way ceasefire holds. Maybe. That obviously, it might not. I have no idea. But I don't know if that announcement is necessarily that development is gonna play out today or not. We'll find out. but no real trend today. Not yet, at least. I'm hopeful that something actually gets going here somewhat soon. All right, report is out. Initial reaction is to the downside. Are they bringing on our boy Rick Santelli again? Maybe. Initial movement is to the downside. To the downside. Nope, not even there. Where's our boy Rick? How are they still on break? Oh, because they're transitioning in between shows. Transitioning in between shows. Come on. Here we go. All right. So the losses I took were two acceptable losses. They would be worse off now.
Carl Quintanilla with Seema Modi and David Faber live at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. Sarah Eisen is off today. Are the bulls back in charge? We're going to talk about whether this week's relief rally and last week's isn't all clear or just a head fake. Bank earnings, of course, kick off on Monday with Goldman, just as top Washington officials meet with some bank CEOs about the risks from these new AI models. We've got some new reporting
Order
ahead.
submitted.
And software, once again, sitting out this week's rally. We'll take a closer look at the fears weighing on that sector with Salesforce, the biggest Dow laggard. First, though, some eco data crossing. Let's get some UMISH and more with Rick Santelli. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Rick.
We're going to do UMISH, and I'll tell you what, buckle up. These are some weak numbers. If we look at the headline, this is Universal Smithson Sentiment, April preliminary. In a couple weeks, they'll fine-tune it. And remember, the low read that we had was in 22 at 50, and my database goes back to 1978. The new read, 47.6. I don't have anything up back to 78 that's any lower than that. And if we look at current conditions, that was headline, 50.1. Same scenario. My records have 50.4 is the low. So another very extremely low level. On expectations, 46.1. 46.1. Do I have anything lower than that? I don't. I have 47 and change, so another one that goes beyond mine. If we look at inflation numbers, 4.8 on the one-year inflation. That would equal where we were in August of last year. To find a higher number, you're in June of last year at 5%. 5 to 10 year, 3.4 as expected. Rear view mirror, 3.2.
I guess I should have done it right at VWAP where I initially was.
To find a higher number, you're back to October of 25. Now we have a litany of numbers here with regard to durable goods and factory orders.
Wow, I messed that one up. I thought there was going to be a better flush to 75.
So minus 1.3 replaces.
I see buyers at 75, which is why I moved it. I thought I could get cute with a 10-point better
on
fill.
Non-defense, XR proxy for capital spending on the order side. 7/10 replaces.
Who knows? Maybe
6/10.
my idea was I was like, oh, maybe I could just play it from the fill up back up to 300, quick 15 points, which literally played out exactly.
Numbers. On factory orders, what do we have? Headline number comes in at 0, unchanged. Goose egg, we're expecting a negative number. Last month gets revised to 0 as well. And if you strip out transportation on this February factory orders number,
Matt, stop loss. I'm not in a trade.
3 times.
I can't have a stop loss on when I don't have
is really strong.
a trade here.
1.2 would be the strongest level going back to August of 23. How did the market digest all of that?
Flat.
Interest rates started to go up after that warm CPI, and they continue to move up a bit. Listen, these University of Michigan sentiment numbers are a survey.
Another perfect tap of VWAP, but a lower high.
But we do know that what's going on in the Middle East,
Am I doing something
it's a real
stupid?
question of how long it lasts, and that'll give us a better clue as to how long these levels on some of the data I just gave you will last as well. Seema, back to you.
That's important context, especially on consumer sentiment. Rick, thank you. Let's turn our heads now to Iran ahead of tomorrow's expected meeting in Pakistan. Megan Casella joins us from Washington on what we can expect as we count down to what could come of this meeting between the U.S. and Iran. Megan.
Weak bounce
That's right,
off.
A lot to watch.
Yeah,
Vice President
but
Vance
it's weak until it's
Pakistan
not.
Just a little over an hour ago, and he told reporters on his way onto the plane that he expects the talks will be positive.
If the Iranians are willing to negotiate in good faith,
here's
we're certainly
one
willing to extend the
VWAP.
open
Here's
hand.
the next.
If they're going to try to play us, then they're going to find that the negotiating team is not that receptive. So we're going to try to have a positive negotiation. The president has gave us some pretty clear guidelines, and we're going to see.
Vance is leading the U.S. delegation alongside Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, while Iran's parliamentary speaker and foreign minister will lead the talks for their side. Now, remember, Witkoff and Kushner last sat down with the Iranians in late February, but they were unable at the time to reach a deal.
Feels like
Iran's
I'm going to get a
nuclear
fill
program.
on this one
so
pretty
adding
soon.
Vance this time around could shift the dynamic at least a little bit. He's a known anti-interventionist, reportedly was the most opposed inside the White House to full-scale war with Iran. So there is some speculation, guys, that could make him more willing to strike a deal. But the biggest obstacle is that while these talks are meant to be geared towards negotiating an end to the war, for now the two sides aren't even fully in agreement yet over the terms of this 2-week ceasefire. The ongoing Israeli attacks in Lebanon and the fact that the
triple bottom
appears
right
to
at
still be
VWAP.
mostly closed are two huge issues.
We're
so
just stuck in this 15-point range between 300 and 285. You could have just played that how many times? 15 points, 15 points, 15 points. You'd be at 45 points already on the day.
Team and a lot of questions about just what they'll be able to accomplish.
Megan, are we looking at a situation where we'll have
Are we getting the 10 a.m. reversal?
With Vance in Islamabad and then the Israelis and maybe
Is
Lebanese
anyone
in
buying
DC?
here, or am I crazy? Are you guys all looking to short? Am I like misreading this situation?
Down with the Lebanese government.
Are you guys trying to buy this dip or
not?
not?
Well, in DC, sometime next week we're expecting that. But the thing to watch here is a couple things. I would say, yes, it's a positive step that Israel's committing to talks with the Lebanese government, but Netanyahu is out there emphasizing to his people that this is not a ceasefire in Lebanon. The attacks will continue. These are also talks with the Lebanese government and not with Hezbollah. So there's a lot going on.
I'm looking
there.
at this
Pretty
gap
far,
fill
I
on
would say, from any sort of
QQQ.
resolution that threatens to disrupt the ceasefire.
I set the
so we'll
alert.
see how
The
well they can
QQQ
proceed on
gap
those two
fill
tracks.
is 610.50.
Megan, next week and the
Bitcoin's
weekend,
popping
gonna be,
though,
very consequential.
and
Thanks
oil's
so much,
coming
Megan
down.
Cassell in DC. Major averages, of course, wrapping up a strong week
short
of gains
backs,
following that
200, no
ceasefire
short
rally,
lines,
even though
lit long,
inflation
fine.
headline did jump to its highest rate in 2 years in March. Joining us here at Post 9 this morning, Solus Alternative Asset Management Chief Strategist and Economist Dan Greenhouse. Dan, happy Friday. Good to see you.
You too, sir.
What do playbooks even look like given the uncertainties right now?
I agree with you.
Where were we at
sometimes you look
6:40
at the
this
price action
morning?
and you throw your hands up. I think a lot of people would have agreed, and certainly did agree, that if you
Right
had
here.
told me or us what was going to happen would happen, broader markets would have been down more than they were. But at the same time, two things. One, a 10% decline is not nothing in terms
So
of the broader
roughly
stock market.
270 to
And secondly, coming on the
260. Let's just call it
heels of
265.
the tariff scenario.
260 is about the equivalent of the gap fill.
You could forgive a lot of investors for saying we're probably
So
not
I
gonna
pulled
destroy
that
an entire
order,
civilization.
my
We're
order to
probably
go
not gonna
long
go
at
into an all-out war.
275.
In which case, how low do you really want to take equity prices in an environment where the economy is doing okay?
I'm
and
just
earnings are
waiting.
gonna be
I
pretty
pulled the
healthy?
order
Pretty
just
healthy.
because of that gap
Estimates
fill
barely
not getting
moved at all.
filled
Yeah,
yet.
earnings
We
went up.
easily
Yeah,
could
well,
just
I
bounce
should
right
say
here.
that
This
we
little
took- a
flush
lot of
and
people
maybe
come on the network and
75
talk
would have
about
been a
our earnings
genius
so great, and
play.
that is true at the headline
Coulda,
level.
shoulda, woulda.
Ex-tech, it's much more moderate.
Coulda,
in the-
shoulda,
in
woulda.
called the low to mid single digits. But yeah, earnings season should be pretty good. And again, if oil prices are going to come down from their current levels, how much are you really going to ding the consumer?
Wow,
Specifically
I would
to
have
the talks
actually
that are
looked like a
happening
fucking
this weekend before we
genius.
get into earnings, what exactly do you think investors will be wanting to
My
see
order
in
was
order
at
to give them conviction
75.
that this
I would
market
have
can
taken
continue to
3
move higher? It
points
seems like
of
it's not
heat,
just a ceasefire agreement,
and I could
but
unload this
any
at
type of
300 for a
agreement on
$500
Strait of
gain.
Hormuz and actually seeing ships pass through.
I don't want to speak for all
Done by the
investors, but I'll speak
day,
for all
done
investors
for the
and
day
say,
by 10. Enjoy
frankly,
the
nobody
weekend,
cares
degenerates.
about a ceasefire.
Good stuff, man.
All that really matters, I shouldn't say that. I mean, obviously the humanitarian part, obviously. But I mean, from an investment
Of the
standpoint,
global economy, it's the
yes,
passageway.
what we care about is investing, and really what matters is ships getting through the strait. And so anything that you can do to more quickly get empty ships in there, ships out, et cetera, that's really the focus. And so a ceasefire, great to the degree that it helps
25
facilitate an environment
on-
where we can start getting
We're
traffic
coming up
moving
to a
more
big
readily.
node here, so don't be
6 weeks of
surprised if we
rising
start
oil
to
prices,
bounce.
and it's starting to come through,
Unfortunately, the
especially when we
Qs
look at the
didn't get their
performance of
downside gap
bifurcation
fill,
across
but
the energy
remember,
sector. Are there certain parts of
6825
energy that you would want to get
is
more
not only
exposure
the
to?
green to red test,
listen,
it's a
I've
big
said
positive
numerous times
gamma
on the
node
network that
right
Solus
here,
has been, a player in
6825.
the energy space for some
So
time, so I want to be
not the
careful what I
most
say or
insane
don't
thing
say,
to think that
as a
we
hedge fund.
might
There's
have some
certain
buyers
things that
stepping
we
in
can't talk
there.
about on air.
We
Listen,
bounced there
space has
twice
had a
already.
huge run.
Let's see if it actually
I think
holds.
there's a lot of
Turn them off. Yeah, this guy's getting
optimism,
boring.
so to speak.
We don't need this anymore. Nasdaq down, Mag 7 down, S&P 500 up, interestingly. Once again, big level. It is the green to red test. It's a psychological level, and it's a gamma level. 6825 is important. Unfortunately, we still haven't gotten that downside gap fill. I'd be a lot more confident going long if we cleaned up the chart on the Qs and The QQQ downside gap fill is roughly equivalent to 260, roughly, plus or minus maybe 5 to 10 points there. But watching around, plus or minus like 5 points, but it's around 260. So if you are playing the downside gap fill on the NASDAQ, but you're looking at the gap fill on Qs, if you're past 260, you might want to be locking that in. I have no position. Thus far today, I am 1 for 3, a winning trade, a losing trade, a losing trade. And honestly, I'm really happy with my risk management. I think I had reasonable entries. I really do. And I think I managed it well. I kept the losses small. So I'm actually happy with how I'm doing it today. Of course, I wish the accounts were green, but sometimes variance just gets you. And instead of holding those longs that I had and being down thousands and thousands of dollars right now, honestly, one little quick trade and I'll be good to go. But let's look at this 260 level. Let's look at this 260 level. We're getting real close. Real close. And I do have an alert set for the gap fill right here. We're coming up to it. It is the high from yesterday, 610.50. All right, we're watching some of these trend lines just in case we start to bounce. Just in case we start to bounce. Watch SPX. Remember, 6825, exactly where we're at, is a big positive gamma node. Big positive gamma node. And then if it doesn't hold, I'm looking at 6,800 flat, the top of the transition zone, an even bigger psychological technical level. So watching this to see if it can hold, time will tell. 5 minute breaking bearish, 10 minute testing, 30 minutes still very much bullish, 5 minute breaking bearish, 10 minute testing, 30 minutes still very much bullish. So because of that, I'm still looking for bullish opportunities. I obviously just want to see improvement in the short term. Like, I don't want this test to fail. I don't want this test to fail. Right here, we're testing. I want it to pop. We're testing. I want it to pop. 30 minute and 4 hour bullish, 30 minute and 4 hour bullish. Basically, we need to see the Mag 7 turn around. We need to see the NASDAQ turn around. The S&P 500 is actually trending up. More specifically, puts are being sold. Calls were being bought. That kind of stopped as of that 10 a.m. announcement, but maybe that could kickstart us again. Man, that 75 buy looked good. It really did. We still haven't gotten the downside gap fill. I would be a lot more comfortable in this situation if we did. If we did. Oh, and we're moving it now. Son of a gun. I guess we're not getting the gap fill. Fuck, dude. I would have seemed so smart if I held that. The coulda, woulda, shoulda. The old coulda, woulda, shoulda. Now, watch for the rejection at the 50%, which is also regular trading hour VWAP. If you were riding this up, especially if you scaled in, that's a good area to scale out maybe some of your profits, somewhere between whatever, 18 and 20. I think 20, 19, something like that's a reasonable place. Some sort of breakout. Oh, we're crossing the trend line. We're snapping some trend lines right there. SPY breaking its, Q's breaking its first one. We did not get that downside gap. Oh, oil's taking a hit. Bitcoin's going up. Someone's going bullish. Someone's going bullish. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, folks. The old coulda, shoulda, woulda. The old coulda, shoulda, woulda. What is this low? 93. 93, 93, 93, 76. 76 is right there. The old coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Order filled. Order submitted.
I'm not in love with this stop, 303. We'll have to give it a little bit more risk. But something just changed, the old 10 a.m. reversal. Is this not trading? Hello? What the fuck? What's happening? It shows me in a It shows me in a position. Right there. Legends. But not here?
Order canceled.
Having data issues, team. Trying to reconnect. Okay, there we go.
Order submitted.
Don't know what that was about, but there we go. I didn't want to fire off another trade and accidentally double up. I just wanted to make sure I was actually in or not. But we're having some sort of weird connections to Tradeovate, and I think Tradeovate's been having a decent amount of issues throughout the week, so not the most surprising. But if you want to know what just happened, unfortunately, we didn't get the downside gap on the Qs, which would have made life easier, but we did perfectly bounce off this positive gamma node. Look at that. Look at these wicks right into the positive gamma node. What's your next target? The next positive gamma node, 6850. Just playing that ping pong of 25 points where if it does happen, and I don't know if it will, that is a good setup. And especially if you got in right there, you didn't even take much risk. If you bought at 25, your biggest risk was not even like 2 full points. So the risk reward is phenomenal. And then obviously the target's up there. And even on this pump, the fact that we took out these previous highs, if you got this long at that key area, yeah, your stop's at break even. Do I wish? I mean, you guys saw the order. I was going to go long at 75 and now I'm off by 50 fucking points. So I guess I stuck to it. Maybe I was a little bit in my head of just taking 2 small losses on the day. So that literally I could be long and already up $1,000 per account. Like, that's just so silly. That's very silly of me. Should have done it. But I don't know. What if it vomited? I would have been like, why'd you do it? So maybe I'm playing like Monday morning quarterback here. The old coulda, shoulda, woulda. So maybe I shouldn't be holding myself to that particular standard. Maybe a potential higher low here. Right at that VWAP. You guys like this one better. I'm told that it looks better. Where are these highs? This high is 54. This high is 54, 57, and then 70. 307. What's flow? Let's check flow. S&P 500 got a flow alert. Be mindful because that could just be a big bullish move or big bearish. It just means big move. Nasdaq's still kind of going down. That's freaking me out a little bit. Mag 7 is recovering. I like that right there. 10-12 is the bottom. We're finally seeing a bit of recovery. So I am a fan of that. 397. Okay, cool. All right, I like the recovery. I like this. Let's check our map 25. Yes, this is updating every minute now. That's the most recent news from Spot Gamma. They have minute-to-minute updates. We're ripping through a little bit of this negative gamma right here. So we bounce off this positive gamma, looking for the next one, the key technical psychological level at 850, giving it a little bit of room here, a little bit of room. We're seeing how this is going to go. A little trend line breakout, another trend line breakout, looking for this bigger one on the Qs. Am I blocking this? No. Okay, over here. I'm looking for that. Hopefully it happens. So we popped up. We have some consolidation. I'm looking for the consolidation to break upward. Will it? Will it? Will it? Will it?
Order filled. Order submitted. Order submitted.
All right, we're doing a little bit more of an advanced tactic, a scale in, scale out type of a deal. Obviously, the stops are there, the targets are there. I just see some people on Bookmap building up a little bit of a position at 50. What was this one? This high was 55. Maybe I front run it to 53 because this high right here, this high is 55. So I'm front running it to the tune of 2 points. Do I want to bring both of my stops up here? 307. 307 is a little bit of an odd level. A little bit of an odd level. 20 points. That's pretty much my loss on the day. We'll see. The moon isn't real. Fully agree. You know what we need for this to work? For my Buffalo shirt to really start pulling out all of its capabilities? We need a little bit of tendies and tunes. A little bit of tendies and tunes here. A little bit of Toby Kohrs, Still Green. Dude, we have some weird connection issues still.
I had a beat up jar with some shaky lines drawn. Pre-market buzz and the futures were on. First couple trades hit clean right out the gate. Man, I knew it was on.
Wait, what the fuck? Why is it disconnected? Was I on the wrong account? I was. Shit.
Order filled.
Okay, now they're all where they should be.
Order canceled.
All right, I need to get these reset.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Okay, now the orders are back, and I'm carrying 2. Okay, I accidentally traded on the wrong account, so it didn't persist. But now we're good. Now we're good. Oh wait, the order is not good. The profit.
Order submitted.
Oh, why is this follow through the most lethargic thing ever? Come on, where's the follow through we were promised? Oil's going down, that should help me. Bitcoin's going up, that should help me. And we're not running into the gamma wall quite yet. The gamma starts at 50, which we still have some decent upside till then. I'm going to set an alert there. So we shouldn't be suppressed for a bit. SPY is going. Mag 7 tried to recover, going flat. NASDAQ is just going flat. At least it stopped puking. How many accounts can you copy trade with Replicanto? I believe it's unlimited. I'm thinking about moving this stop all the way up to here and just playing these two. I would feel better about that, though, if we could take out 46, though, first. Shout out to Lil Kohrs, live from North Korea. Come on, let's get going. We did just crack. We're testing this trend line right now. Oil's coming down, Bitcoin's going up, flow is still improving, Nasdaq's turning up finally, Mag 7's turning up, and we still have distance to run until this options resistance at 6850. In fact, we have about 12 bucks. If I'm actually this confident about it, I wonder if instead of unloading at 53, if I just put a stop to break even. That's like another tactic I could fairly use, is instead of locking in here, what if when we hit this, I just take the risk off of one, but I'm already down on the day. And then this one, if I lock this in, 500 bucks, that gets rid of my loss on the day. That's probably the right move now that I say it. In terms of risk management, because I can lock in this one, it brings me to break even, or almost brings it. Almost got. Are you kidding me? That brings my accounts to break even, and then I could get the stop. I could leave in this stop, and it's just not much risk. No way, dude. No way. It hit my value and did not get a fill. Can you believe that shit right there? It hit 53, no fill. You know, is it even a trading day if your boy gets this on? Like, I'm not allowed to get lucky. It's a rule. It's literally a rule that I am not allowed to get lucky. That's like the major Wall Street rule, is make sure you fuck over Kohrs. It hit the value. It hit 53, just not enough volume traded there or liquidity to count as a fill on my sim to funded accounts. That's crazy. LOL makes perfect sense. It does when you consider liquidity. Just because it hits a value doesn't mean that there's enough traded there to fill everyone who has orders there. It's just unfortunate that I wasn't enough volume wasn't there. I wasn't far enough ahead in the queue. Like, liquidity is very much a real thing, and there just wasn't enough volume there. In fact, there's probably like only a handful of contracts traded at 53. That's insane. That's fucking insane. You know, just wait till this Buffalo shirt luck kicks in. The market won't know how to handle it. Just you guys wait. Wow. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. If I had a tick lower, I would have gotten a fill. Now I am tempted to move it to the intraday high at 69. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's get a playlist. Where's the playlist? Lil Kohrs and Fat Kohrs. Oh, brother, that is unfortunate. This is sometimes the game of trading, though. Sometimes variance is not on your side. Sometimes it is very much not on your side. I cannot. That's so. I was front running this high. This high was 55, so I just arbitrarily picked it by 2 points. If I just arbitrarily picked it by 3 points, I'd be fine. I would have erased my loss on the day. I'd have my stop at break even. It'd be very close to getting knocked, but I would be like, whatever, I'm break even on the day. It's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. Very quick reminder, today is a Friday, and it is a Payday Friday. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, retweet, and follow. That is how you can get involved in this giveaway. We're giving away 10 prop accounts, 5 from Lucid, 5 from Vanquish. Lucid is for futures, Vanquish is for options. You could get a gnarly deal on Lucid right now with code Goonie, 40% off, up to 5 per person, and then on Vanquish up to 50% off code Goonie. So code Goonie there, code Goonie there. Bit of an update on Lucid. My accounts are paused because I'm pivoting to live. I'm told that I actually might go live as early as today. I was talking to them, emailing them back and forth yesterday, so very, very excited about that. And we're going to be doing this giveaway when my position Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to manage this position. But anyway, all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. We're going to simultaneously do this on Twitter and also on Discord. So if you want to trade with me, mentor with me, or just be part of a cool community, GoonieTrading.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, come to contact. And that comes directly to me. Okay, SPX is still looking good. This should bode well for me. If we take out 55, I have to move the stop on one of these up. Take it out. Take it out. Take it out. Go to 55. I want to see 55. I want to see 55. I want to see 55. I see 55. Stop on one of these is in the green. So we are de-risking on one of my two contracts completely. So half of my position is riskless. So basically, in terms of risk, I'm only carrying this bottom one, 400 points. The other one, if hit, it's not going to matter to me. It's going to suck because, like, if it does return from right there, that would have been more of a gain. Oh, am I being stupid, though? Should I just take one off now as we're running into 55, as we're running into 57? Or do I think we could pop? I mean, like I said, if I'm playing the options levels very much suggest right here. We bounce off this positive gamma node. Here's the next node. It's perfectly 50. We still have 8 points of running on SPX. That's going to be a good run on NQ. On top of that, looking at the technicals of NQ, the pre-market high is going to be 86, which is going to be a target of many people. I'm front running that by, what, 17 points? I kind of like it, because if I can lock this one in, I can move the stop to break even, and then I can really not give a shit. It just sucks that I'm playing from my heels because I did have 2 losing trades. Obviously, I could close out now for a gain of 700 across each account. Trust your gut. I don't know. I was trusting my gut yesterday, and that wasn't... Come on. Come on. I'm trying to play math. There we go. This is why you play math. All right, we're taking care of that. We're there. We're good. We are fishing, brother. We are fishing. Fishing, 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 fishing. Fishing, brother.
You getting mad? I'm getting rich.
Dude. We're fishing, dude. Where's our fishing song? We're going fishing. All right, so finally, the Lucky Buffalo shirt does exactly what I pay it to do. We were up 200, went down 450. Now we're up 400 with a runner. Stop at break even. We're looking good. We're looking good. This is why you keep your risk in control. You could argue, Matt, if you kept that long, you would have never been hurt. For all I know, it could have broke down at VWAP. There was no guarantee it bounced back. So I'm actually really, really proud of how I managed it because I kept the losses small and manageable. What would have been worse is if I held it and decided to get out here, bigger loss, and then back in anyway, I would still be red. So the fact that I just kept them small and reasonable, I promise you folks, for anyone who is new, or maybe you're a veteran trader, but you're not so happy with your performance, I promise you, the biggest change you can make in your career is just keep your losses small. If you can keep your losses small, you will survive this game. And this is proof of it. Today, I'm a 50-50 trader. 2 winning trades, 2 losing trades. And yet I am net up guaranteed money on the day because of risk management. The dispersion of your average win size and your average loss size is going to be massively impactful, especially most of us are going to be 50-50 traders. Maybe you want to argue with me, maybe you don't about that. But yes, most traders are 50-50. You're going to be right half the time, wrong half the time. And you can be net profitable. This blows people's mind, and it's a rather simple math concept. You don't even have to be right half the time. You could be right a third of the time, or even any lower number if you want, and still be profitable. And it's one of those things where you're at first you're like, wait, what? And then you think about it and you're like, oh, okay, because it depends on how big you are when you're right and how small you are when you're wrong. Folks, if you can keep your downside risk in control, which is honestly the only thing you can control. You cannot control how profitable you're going to be. You can control it in terms of net profitability by risk control, but like you can't make the market go in your favor. What you can do though is you are the only thing you can really control in trading is how much you're willing to lose when you're actually wrong. You are in control of that. And if you can control that well, the winners are going to take care of themselves. I promise you that. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. You control your losses, the winners, the profits will control themselves. And just assume half the trades you place are going to be wrong. You're going to lose money. The other half, you're just hoping for the runners. Like, just go for it. All right. Anyway, I'm now watching 86, and then obviously I'm watching 50. I have alerts at 50. I have alerts at 86, and then from there, 400 would be the natural 100 level to watch. But in all reality, I don't care that much because my stop is at break even. So I'm guaranteed green on the day. Of course, like I always like to be more green. Of course, I like to be more green. But hey, green is good. Any day you leave the casino with green in your pockets, you're feeling good about it. Which then brings me to making you guys green. Folks, it is a Payday Friday. If you haven't already, all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. And we were giving away Lucid accounts, we were giving away Vanquish accounts, and we were giving away $150 of cold hard cash. Right now, you have about like a minute or two to figure it out because we're doing the giveaway right now. If you can hear me, if you are listening to me, get involved. Also, if you like the Lucid accounts and you want to use my code, that is a great way to support this effort, this community. And the more people using the code, we get more giveaway accounts. So it's kind of like a snowball effect. So if you're going to buy a Lucid account anyway, and you want to use Goonie, I do appreciate that. Same thing with Vanquish. Vanquish is for options. Lucid is going to be for futures. And we're going to get rocking with the giveaway pretty soon. Twitter Picker, right? Twitter Picker. And then we found out that the second one is a better one. All right. So we're going to do that. We don't need this. We just need, all right, you guys are going to have like 60 seconds to get your life together. There's that. Retweet and like. Winner count. We're going to do 3 at Matt_Kohrs. I'm not running that quite yet. No, you don't need that. No, you don't need that. 0 latest tweet any 1 month minimum followers. Okay, so I just want to set it up so basically anyone can be involved. But also in the Discord, I'm going to run this right now. Hang on. Where is general chat? Everyone, Payday Friday time. Okay, so giveaway. Wait, how do I do it? /giveaway? Yeah, /giveaway. Create duration 3 mins. Winners 7 and prize racer. Okay. All right. If you are in the Discord, that is up and running. So all you have to do is enter the giveaway. It's in general chat. So once again, if you are in the Goonie Trading Discord, it is up. It is live. All you have to do is hit that button. So I'm going to give that a little bit. And then for all of you, once again, if you're in the Discord, you could also play Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you could also play Discord. You're allowed to do both. Double your chances. Why not? Triple your chances. Have fun with it, folks. If you want to be in the Discord and you're not yet, obviously just come to GoonieTrading.com. And if you're in the Discord but not following me on Twitter, have fun with that at Matt_Kohrs. So it's all rocking. I'm giving you guys 2 minutes and change on Discord. And right here, we might as well run this to see who our Twitter representation is. All right, we already did that. I feel like I gave you guys enough time. There's 3 Matt Kohrs. All right, we did that. We did that. We did that. We did that. How do I play it? How do I run it? Okay, pick a winner. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Fetching participants, applying filters, and drum roll, please, selecting winners. So the first 3 competitors are Weirdo Unit, Dues, and Tan Lee. All right, let's open that up. Let's open that up. And let's open that up. I need to save you guys so I can DM you later. Congratulations. You're already guaranteed something today. You're already guaranteed a prop account, and maybe you're going to get a little bit more. But 3 of our 10 competitors already selecting Weirdo Unit, Doze, Jason, we'll call you, and Tan Lee. So you guys are already in. You have a spot. You've already won something. And while we are waiting for the Discord timer to go, let's do this. Let's get the game booted up. View games library, games, marbles. All right, let's get this. We're going. We're getting marbles booted up. All right, if you are in the Discord, you have less than a minute. Less than uno momento, mi amigo. Uno momento. All right, there we go. We don't need this. Continue. All right, race. Random. All right, we are racing twist and turns. There's going to be 10 of you. I must have been generous last time because it's Sean who made me money. We're going to clear that. 10. All right. We have Weirdo. We have Jason, and we have Tan. So those are our first 3, all selected from Twitter. And then right here, we need our other 7. This should be done any second. 6 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right. Who are our other competitors? Boom. Right there. Shout out to Rudder, Dero, NT, Standing Red, Trippy, Mario, and Andrew. All right, let me screenshot that just so I can get them. Once again, congrats to you guys. You already won something, and you might be winning something more in a little bit. But let me get you guys loaded into this. We have Rudder, Dero, we have NT, we have Standing Red, we have Trippy, we have Mario, and we have Andrew. All right, cool. We have our 10 competitors. We have our map. We have our racers. Let's get this going. All right, let me boot that up. Let's get some cool tunes. All right, we have this. We have our Payday Friday. Let's get ready. I just want to get in the zone as your favorite announcer. All right, we have this. All right, before we get rocking, let me clarify what's going on. Before you, on this beautiful Friday, April the 10th, we have 10 of the fastest marble racers in all of the land. And right now, not only is $150 of cold hard cash on the line for this one race, but obviously eternal bragging rights, which if you ask me, is invaluable. There are no rules. This is prison rules racing. This is prison rule marbles racing.
Order filled.
Just got knocked out at break even. There must be some sort of announcement going on. This is prison rules racing. The only thing that matters is getting to the finish line and getting to the finish line first. That is the only thing that matters. So with all of that in mind, who do you think has been preparing? Who do you think has been going to the gym, stretching, using performance-enhancing drugs? If you had to bet, what would you bet on? Who would you bet on? Who is speaking to you right now, deep in your soul, that they are ready for this race? Because I'm curious where the odds are at. Obviously, if you're here, you're willing to bet. And I wonder if you're willing to bet on the victor of this particular race. So comment away. Weirdo, gut feeling. You're betting on Weirdo? Okay. Maybe. I thought it was you because of butt stuff. Tom from MySpace, inappropriate. All right. Well, anyone, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, please put your hands together because the racers are going to be starting in 3, 2, 1. We are off. Who's going to get the first drop? Andrew, shooting out of the ramp. Where are they all? Andrew, NT, Standing Red, all leading the way. Who's going to get the drop? Andrew and NT vying for that first drop. Rudder joining in, taking a quick path. Who's going to get the drop? Who's going to get the drop? Let's go into the hole with them. Rudder making an early move. Rudder. Congrats on that drop. Choosing to take the right path, followed by NT and Andrew. Rudder moving like his life depends on it. Let's see. Can he get through the first little obstacle? Honestly, no issue for him whatsoever. Rudder quickly going for the second drop, but NT is making a move. Rudder opting for the left path. So is Andrew and NT. 1, 2, and 3. Gold, silver, and bronze. And distantly, we have Weirdo, Dero, and Standing Red. But Rudder, honestly, showing us a masterclass on how to get through funnels. Once again, opting for the left path, followed by Andrew and NT. Right, left, and making quality work of a quick funnel drop. That is Rudder's real move today. Obviously, he has been practicing, and I do appreciate it. Once again, opting for the left path and really showing the world what it's like to get through those funnels quickly. But how is he with these turnstiles? That's really what we have to be asking. Oh, apparently he's been practicing those as well. Oh, NT and Andrew going for the right path. Interesting. NT getting through even quicker. Uh-oh, Rudder. Did you stumble just enough to lose your lead? All right, the final move. NT. Wow. Lagging slightly behind on those funnels, but clearly optimizing the turnstile enough to actually skip over Rudder and then Weirdo past Rudder anyway. Wow. Mario and Standing Red, I don't even know what you guys tried to do today. Standing Red, did you even know you were racing? Honest question. Standing Red, what are you doing there? Dead last. NT. I think that in itself is a good metaphorical, philosophical take on not quitting until the end. You got to run through the finish line because you never know if your competitors ahead of you are going to stumble. Shout out to NT. That was nothing but grit, nothing but perseverance. Impressed to say the least. Very impressed. NT, obviously, I will be reaching out to you for your special winnings of the $150. But obviously, shout out to all 10. I will be reaching out to all of you today to get you your winnings. Very cool. Congrats to NT. Congrats to all the competitors. And opposite of congrats to people like me who just got knocked out there for seemingly no reason. Oh, we have a little Vicky volatility here. What happened? Was there a news update there that I'm missing? Let me close out this program. What happened? Spy random drop. Mag 7. Do I want to get back in on this? Green on the day. I'll take it. But what's going on? Did you guys see any news? Was there news? Where are my news people? Trump trying to pump Palantir. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what our president's meant to do. Oh, that's too funny. That guy, he's something. Pumping individual stocks now. Nasdaq, SPY. All right, we almost got going, but we're ping-ponging in between this zone. Remember, 825 and 850 are the key positive gamma nodes. Those are thus far the guardrails on the day. All right, we don't need this. We already did the Payday Friday giveaway. You know that I'm about to go live with Lucid, and I was told maybe as early as today. Shout out to Lucid, shout out to Vanquish. Code Goonie, 50% off on Vanquish. Code Goonie, 40% off on Lucid. Here's the flow. Let's look at the delta map. Let's look at the charm pressure. We could end at 830 or 55 right now are the interesting nodes. 830, which would be a choppy day, or maybe a little bit of a pump up to 850 as of now. But that is very dynamic, and it's a little early to be confident in that call out. A little early, if you ask me. We might be dipping back to VWAP. VWAP is just below 300. It's 297. Not the worst buy in the book. Not the worst buy in the book. Is anyone, question to all of you, is anyone planning on buying at VWAP somewhere between 295 and 300? Anyone planning on doing that, or are you thinking we're about to dump it? 2 points of negotiations weren't being met. Bummer. As my financial advisors, are you guys planning on buying at VWAP? Or, damn, this VWAP might be the buy. Unless it snaps here. I want to buy there. They should indicate it's a bad idea. Oh, that indicates it's a bad idea? Fair enough. I appreciate the honesty. I do appreciate the honesty. We have quite a few equal lows at this 50% IB right here. Low, 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 low. This is literally our fifth bounce there. Do I want to risk any of my gains on this potential reversal? I don't know. I don't know. NASDAQ. It's seen better days. Mag 7's catching a bid. The SPY is actually turning up. The SPY, I'd feel better if it took out 37. But it didn't make a fresh low. That is a higher low. And we're battling it out at the high from yesterday. Oh, brother. Waiting to see what I do? Oh, so you could do the opposite? Honestly, pretty shrewd move of you. Pretty shrewd move. Pretty... I respect that game. I really do. I do. If I buy here, what are the chances it's just a double top?
Order filled.
I wanted to be in below 50, but I need to pick a risk point.
Order submitted.
All right, the risk is in. Question is, do I want to move it up 10 points? That's the real question, is do I want to move it up? Yes, no, maybe so. Unfortunately, I did get knocked out at break even at 29. And obviously that did take some heat down to 06, which would have sucked. But right now it's back to already being green. What is this one? This is 30. Where's 30? 30 is right there. I don't think I could risk 30 because that's still not VWAP. The IB is 18. It was definitely a chasey entry. I was thinking it was going to get going because I saw the higher low. We broke the high. I was like, oh, is this about to rip back to 70? Should have waited 2 minutes. That's Monday morning quarterbacking. Like, when people give advice like that, I really don't understand it because how the fuck do you know? You're only saying that because it's now dipping. What if the very next bar was a giant green bar? Well, it would have been good that I got in. You have to be very realistic about, like, the information you have at hand. If I show you this right here, where I got in, there's no way you can definitively say, oh, it's coming down. For all we know, the next one could have been a giant green bar. You don't know that. It's super, super easy to Monday morning quarterback. And like that for you in your own trading, it's just like helpless. I called it before you bought. Look at my last post. Once again, it's 50. You're guessing. That's my point. It's like, if you shout out enough things of the next bar is green or red, you're going to be right. But you had no actual reasoning behind it. We already hit VWAP in the 50% IB multiple times, and we just made a fresh high. That's a structural change. So this idea, like the idea of, oh, I called it. You could call any random thing, and you're going to be right half the time. But that doesn't mean it's a net profitable call out, like at all. Like, unless you have some sort of like compelling evidence of like, no, I called it out because of XYZ, I back tested it, it works this amount of time, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's a little bit more compelling. But other than that, once again, a broken clock is right twice a day. Like that, it's just pointless. You can always just say, oh, I'm bullish, I'm bearish. Okay, maybe you're lucky, maybe you're not lucky. I wish I did get out of this one earlier though at 30.
Order filled.
Yeah. I was just looking at these lows, but the question is, am I going to be, well, this is going to really suck if that knocks me out there. I was more so saying, do I want to rebuy at VWAP? But if that just came down to knock me out, that's brutal. But once again, coming back to the wait 2 minutes, like it's only Monday morning quarterbacking. It's exclusively Monday morning quarterbacking. And that's not going to get you anywhere in trading. It's going to get you. If you're always holding yourself to the standard of, oh, how could you have played it absolutely perfectly? Well, good fucking luck. Where's flow? I need to see what's happening in this. Interesting. That's pushing a little red. That's pushing a little red as well. But it's still kind of consolidating. Dude, I think that literally did just knock me out. No fucking way. Wow. If I used the other low, I would have been fine. Oh, that's a dagger. That's a dagger.
Order filled. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Why is this not working? So there we go.
Order submitted.
All right, cool. We are where we need to be. Actually, no, we're not. What time of the day is it? It's 11. This breakout, 73, leads us to 86. 86 on NQ. I kind of actually want to play it higher. I want to, so 86 is the high. I want to go to 82.5. On the break at 70, I'll move one of the stops up. All right, watching those highs, and I'm watching this low. Once again, that's all for SPX. On NQ, we could do a similar thing. Well, it's not exactly similar. We're marking out the intraday high, and we're marking out this recent low. All right, so alerts just in case it goes a little bit funky on me. Wow, look at how unlucky that was. Went long here for it, and I just used that low arbitrarily instead of this one. I figured if it breaks it, it's going to hit it anyway, but it didn't. That was, if you go long when I get knocked out, I think that is a strategy that doesn't miss. I deeply believe that. I think my unlucky knockouts might be the best reversion signal in the world. Like, one of you in chat one of these days is going to be like a mega brain and start to just go long when I get knocked out of my longs. And I don't know if you're going to lose. Went long on 3 when you got knocked out. Thank you. Dude, that's what I'm saying. You literally you took what? 2 points of heat? you're already up almost 40 points, 30 points. Like, I think it's the smartest play in the book. I really do. I don't know if there's a smarter play than that in the book. You went long at 20. That wasn't exactly where I got knocked out, though. I got knocked out at 12. That was a much better trade. The play is to go long when I get knocked out of a long. That's the real play. But we'll see how this goes anyway. Obviously, taking out 70, I'm going to do what I did before. Stop to break even on one and move the risk up on the other. But I'm targeting 82.50. If the question is why, it's, well, we have a previous high at 73. So I'm looking for kind of, at minimum, that little spike above it. Of course, it might double top, and I'd have to manage that. But really, I'm looking at the pre-market high, which we hit right after the 8:30 CPI inflation report, which you can see hit a high of 86 flat. So I'm front running that by a couple points. So I'm basically picking the middle of the current intraday high and the pre-market high, roughly 82. It doesn't have to hit it. There's no rule. It's just, that's, I suppose, the reasoning behind it. And I don't think I'm completely fucked unless we take out these lows, which kind of sucks because we could reasonably take out these lows and just hit VWAP and bounce off of that, which would be pretty shitty for me if that happens, as it kind of already did. But we'll see. Should I move both to that just to avoid this? I do have the alert set. Yeah, I have the alert set at 306. 30. So this low. I do officially have an alert set. So I feel a bit more comfortable. I'm not going to miss it. I could always manually manage it. I just don't want to get into the situation where I'm have no stop and then I just let it get out of control. Why 2 contracts? Why not? Risk, reward. I don't know. Why does anyone trade any amount of whatever you're trading? It's the perception of risk and reward. And I'm accepting the risk of 2 contracts. I could tell you now, I wouldn't let 2 go all the way down. I'm actually thinking about moving 1 up, like pretty close already. And I'm going to move 1 to break even here. There's many studies that suggest scaling in and scaling out is a superior way than going all in and all out. But Polar, you would know that if you did a bit of research. Read all those fancy schmancy articles with all the big brain people. Will you buy more? It depends on the risk reward setup. In this situation, probably not, because I don't know how much more meat's on the bone, because I'm not looking for the SPY to go much above 50 on the current setup because I see this positive gamma node. But actually, that's even changing. If we can get above 50, I'm seeing more oh, that's charm. Never mind. Gamma. See right here, positive gamma node. There's going to be serious resistance there. Which there's nice upside. That is roughly equivalent to, let's just call NQ hitting 25,400. So you could argue, okay, like, why would you not want to ride more contracts up to 400? Which I would if I can get in with minimal risk. I'm already taking on enough risk right now, so any additional contracts I add, I would only want to do it maybe with like less than 10 points of risk for that new contract. And on that new contract, I'd want to go to break even quickly on it. So the question of would I buy more, it's a function of just like, what is the risk on that new contract? That's all it is. And obviously minimizing the risk is clearly the goal. But I am looking at 50, and then from there, I'm looking at 70. That's like the overall gamma structure that I'm seeing is 25 as support, 50 as a target. You could look at 65 to 70 in here, and then you have a big one at 880. This is a new position. That position was not there at the start of the day. I actually don't even know what time that position got created. Let's come back here. It was there a little bit, but at some point today, it really grew. Right there. Right around 10 a.m. is when it started to grow. And then it grew for about 20 minutes. I'm looking at that giant. Yeah. So this node was created at 10 a.m. and it grew for the next 20 minutes straight. And more specifically, it is long calls. 21,000 long calls. You have a little bit of a put credit spread down here at 775. Wow. 21,000. It started off the day that, once again, this is long calls at 6885. It started off the day as only 385 contracts. Fast forward to 9:55, it grew to 5,000. Fast forward to just past 10 a.m., it was 7,000. Fast forward to 10:15, it grew to 8,000. Fast forward to 8:30, it was 12,000. Fast forward to 10:45, it grew to 13,000. Fast forward to 10:50, it's now up to 16,000. And fast forward to real time, 11 a.m., it's getting even bigger now. 21,000 long calls. And it's the biggest it's been. So that's very clearly a new position. Now, does this player know what they're doing? Do they not know what they're doing? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but I'm just pointing out where the big money's at. The biggest node of the day is this negative gamma node at 6880. It's about 22,000 long calls on a 0 DTE as in expiring today. So if we can get above and hold above 50, this play is going to have quite a bit of influence. It's clearly going to have influence, and you can see that on the delta pressure, and you can see that on the charm pressure. So remember, the influence increases not only the closer in price we are to it being at the money, but also the closer to expiration, because gamma, like theta, picks up exponentially. So dude, they're calling for a pop, because they're not only saying we're breaking above 50 today, they're saying we're skyrocketing up to 80, where that's not even marked out on my, because once again, I marked these all out before the market opened, and this position started to get created at 10 a.m. But that is the influence of the day all the way up there. I mean, you can see that's 22,000. I have that on good authority. Makes you wonder if they know something you don't know. Makes you wonder if they know something you don't know. The market isn't doing much, though. In the meantime, the SPY is actually kind of going flat. The Mag 7 picked up a little bit in real time, giving a bit of it back. The NASDAQ had a big spike, giving some back, looking a little bit more jagged. Hey, I'm not Nostradamus or anything, but something about this. It's a negative GEX value of 4.7 billion, which is a 99.1 percentile. So in the past 30 days, 99.1% of plays are smaller and less influential than this play. Once again, in the past 30 days of trading, including all of this craziness of Iran, the quadruple witching, all of that. That's in the last 30 days. 99.1% of all trades were less impactful, less influential, were smaller than the play that we currently see at 6,880. Kind of crazy. Now, maybe a logical question is, how can you play that? Well, of course, you could play just directly up to that level. Maybe something happens. If we get to that level, you could fade it on the top side. You could sell maybe the 6, 9, 10s. So if we run all the way up, you kind of know that that could be clear ceiling on the day. So that's something to know. If you're confident in this, you could sell puts below. You could do at the money puts. You could do a call debit spread. There's many, many ways to utilize this information. But it's basically saying someone is betting on a large move up there, and then that's the extent of it. So, and remember, it's dynamic. That my statement would hold true as long as that plays in play. Remember, it got created starting at 10 a.m. It really wasn't there before, and then it got pretty large again. It grew at 11, so just now. So the way it's dynamic and it's getting bigger and more influential, it could also collapse. It doesn't have to stay there like that. So that's why you need something like spot gamma to kind of manage this. How do you know if that player isn't selling calls? Because it's negative gamma. Negative gamma from a market maker perspective is buying calls. It would be positive gamma right here. So if it points to the left, that is negative gamma. If it points to the right, that is positive gamma. If the trader is buying calls, they're causing the market maker to have negative gamma. If the player, the trader, is selling calls, they would have positive gamma from the perspective of a market maker. And actually, I could take that one further. We can know who it is. It is not a trader. Yes, actually it is. It's a pro. No? Right here. How much? Yeah, 99 percentile, 2 billion. So the play is mostly retail traders, hedge funds, and asset managers targeting directional or volatility views. Their trades are often on the opposite side of market makers, thus causing dealer hedging. So this is some sort of fund or asset manager is the most of that, but then there's also some HFT that's playing it. So I would say 2/3 of it is coming from hedge funds and asset managers, and the other third is coming from high frequency trading, is that particular position. I wonder which politician it is. Fair question. That would be in the customer bucket. But time will tell. Honestly, seeing that there, it kind of makes me want to move this up to 95. It really does. And just say, hey, I think we're going to be... I mean, that 95 will get hit most likely, even if SPX takes out 50. And I have ambitions of going to 80 today. So, like, hell, yeah, the 50 break should happen. Obviously, I'd feel a lot more confident about this if we take out 43. I'm going to move my risk up, actually, there. But this right here, this analysis, this shows you. So before, someone was asking me, if you're trading futures, should you know about options? Yes, I'm using the information, the real-time options trading to inform what I should be doing in futures. So yes, even though, and obviously I am also an options trader, I will be trading options. But that right there, you just got a real-time example, a freebie lesson that is generally just for the trading Discord of how you would put those things together. Oh, dude, this song's... Did you guys know that Kohrs on the Cob wrote this song about me? Let's start it from the beginning.
I rise with the sun when the bell starts screaming. Tickers on fire, got the whole screen gleaming. Boots on the desk, whiskey straight in my cup. I short these stocks till the debt piles up. You bet the farm on a penny stock prayer. I hedge my bets like a billionaire. No time for dreams, I just cash them in. Every dumb fool's got a lesson to spin. They max their leverage, now they're on their knees. Bag holding hope like it's a disease. They diamond hand while I couldn't run. Laughing my ass off while counting my funds. They play the game like a Vegas drunk. I play it smart while they go bankrupt. I'm a NASDAQ cowboy riding the tape. Sell side suckers get stuck in the wake. Leverage too high, that's a great mistake. I cut my losses while they hit the brake. NASDAQ cowboy, king of the trade. Stacking up green while they dig their graves. Through the dust, through the dips. I'm the best fucking trader this side of the mist. Ain't got a lasso, just a keyboard click. Lock in my profits, then I hit the bricks. Charts don't lie, but the fools still do. Sitting in red while I buy what's blue. You hold through pain, I hold through gain. Sipping my bourbon while counting remains. You're praying for moons, I'm calling the crash. You ride in the coffin, I'm driving the cash. The suits get margin calls, cry to the feds. I print my money while they count their debts. They huddle and cope, I just reload. You're down bad, I'm on beast mode. They play for love, I play for blood. A vulture feasting when the market floods.
Mag 7's really going now. We're about to make a new intraday high.
Through the dips, I'm the best fucking trader this side of the mist.
New intraday high, I think. Yep, new intraday high.
Through the dips, I'm the best fucking trader this side of the mist.
All right, if you are in the Discord, that pump just had enough momentum for Piper to fire. So if you're in the Discord, once again, Piper just fired. Hasn't been doing so hot this week, but it did fire.
If I had to tally every gamble I've taken, number one would be that stock I kept forsaken. And number 500, it's a battle I fight, watching my options burn up in the night. I'm just a cowboy riding on margin calls, holding my breath every time that it falls. But at the top of the list, I'm always scared. A loss feels like fire, man, it's hard to bear. It feels like 30 horses riding in the rain, running wild with no reins, trying to break the chain. Alone on the trail, no guide or light, but I'll keep riding through this fight. I just want a little more, just a little more, a little more. I'm fighting for tonight. I just want a little more, just a little more. I just need a little more time, alright. I just want a little more, just a little more, a little more, and I'll make it through. Just want a little more, just a little more, a little more, and I'll pull through. Got this debt collector knocking at my door, says I'm overdue, but I've been down before. I've seen these losses, heard that sound, but I keep running just to turn it around. That fire's burning faster than I know. Stock's crashing, but I'll keep it slow. The only hose left is my broker's line. He says, hold on, son, you'll be just fine. It feels like 30 horses riding in the rain, running wild with no reins, trying to break the chain. Alone on the trail, no guide or light, but I'll keep riding through this fight. I just want a little more, just a little more, a little more. I'm fighting for tonight. I just want a little more, just a little more. I just need a little more time, alright.
If you're in the Discord, not only did Piper fire, but I just did my options trade on the day. So I put that in there, the exact strikes and my price target. So that's in there as well. Once again, if you want to trade with me, if you want to learn a little bit about how I view the market and shit like, oh, check out the gamma and this play and that type of stuff, that's what we get into. I need to make this very clear. Some people recently have been asking questions about the Discord and what it is, what it isn't. If you are joining this for a signal service, you will fail. You're going to get mad at me. I'm going to get mad at you. You're going to lose money. It's not going to end well. If you are coming in here just to simply copy me, that it's not going to work well. I promise you. Do not join the Discord if that is what your goal is. I post everything in the effort to be transparent. I don't post everything for you to copy it. The reason I do it is because too many people in this industry are lying fucking scumbags. So for me, whether I have a winning trade or a losing trade, I want you guys to know what I'm doing, why I did it. Maybe it's good and reasonable. Maybe I'm being tilted, but I'm just trying to be completely transparent with all of you. The reason you would join this is to not only have the community of like-minded people attempting to attack the market in a very systematic, mathematical way, but also to learn these types of things. Obviously, there's power in numbers, and there's a lot of great discussion about what it means to have this charm pressure, what's going on with the futures roll, what's going on with the news. There's a lot of value in a community of people who view the market in a similar framework, helping each other. So if you want to get in there, that's what it's for. But I just don't want people signing up who are like, I'm just going to copy signals. It's not going to end well. It is definitely not going to end well. Hey, Matt, is your Discord suitable for futures traders who want to learn the basics of options? Yeah, that's the main thing. Once in a while, we talk about long-term investing. Like, for example, I told everyone that I added more to my long-term investment account. So it is once in a while, but really you're not that often touching your long-term account. I would say the major concept of discussion there is futures, options, and the interaction between the two. But obviously, like, a lot of the tools are more of like the statistical likelihood of certain things playing out. And there's many ways to play it. You could play it with equities. You could play it with ETFs. You could play it with options. You could go long options, short options. You could play it with futures. It's more of the mathematical concepts of the market. And then you can choose the product that is the best for you. Yes, most of the conversation is surrounding options and futures. But it's more of the higher level thing is like what's happening with the market, where are the large players, what are the influences, and then you could execute the ideology really however you want. But just want to let you guys know about that. Obviously, shout out to Vanquish, shout out to Lucid. If you use those code Goonie, that's awesome. That's a great way to support the channel. If you're buying any of these prop accounts anyway, and you want to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to support Matt just for the effort and the free education he puts in, that would mean the world to me and the team. So I do deeply appreciate that. That's pretty much the end of today's show. As of right now, I am net down on the day. I do have a losing trade of almost $300. Well, one of them somehow ballooned to $400, but then the other one is as low as $270. So I don't know what's going on there. But obviously, my unrealized trade is up quite a bit. I'm up about $1,000 per account. I'm currently trading 16 accounts. I'm trading 5 evals on Take Profit, 5 evals on Tradeify, 5 funded on Legends, and then 1 funded on Tradeify. So currently trading 10 evals and then 6 funded. I cannot trade on Lucid right now because my accounts are getting transferred into live. I cannot trade on Apex because I'm frozen out awaiting my $1 million payout. I can't trade on FFN because I'm waiting my $10,000 payout. So I'm currently frozen out of 3, all arguably for good reasons. Going live, 10K payout, and $1 million payout. So that's where I'm at. That's why you don't see Apex. That's why you don't see FFN, the 7 PVs. And that's why you don't see Lucid, because I literally can't trade on them. So like I said, with all the scammers and pieces of shit in this industry, my goal is to be transparent, honest, and earnest about the real, I guess, happenings of an actual trader. So I like to be transparent. I like to give you the breakdowns. There's good days, there's bad days, there's days in between. But whenever you're wearing your Lucky Buffalo shirt, whenever it's a beautiful Payday Friday, it can't really be that bad. So that's what I have for you. These are the positions. I am long at right here. I'm long 2 at 339.25. One stops at break even. Like I said, when we took out the new high, I just wanted to completely de-risk at least one of the contracts. My goal for one of these is 95. I would then delete this one at 95, leave the stop at break even. We are currently battling it out just below the pre-market high, which was 86. That's right here. This blue horizontal line is the pre-market high, but maybe more influential and more impactful than that is actually 50. So you're going to watch 6850. That is, once again, a pretty important level. That's this positive gamma node. But really from there, if we can break and hold, I'm hyper interested in 6880 is the biggest 0 DTE play of the day. And if we end up ripping there and closing at that value, well, I guess I do know how to tell the future then at that point. So I just wanted to leave you with all of that information. But folks, really, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys. You guys are the fucking best. This is the best community on the entire trading ecosystem internet. So all the support, all the good vibes. Thank you. I hope you guys had a phenomenal week. I hope you made a shitload of money. I will be posting my results at the end of the day. Actually, hang on. Maybe I shouldn't leave quite yet. Maybe I shouldn't because this is about to lock. Yeah, you know what? We're going to sit here to see how this one goes. Is there still music? There is still music. That's what I heard. I thought I was losing my mind for a second. But then I was like slightly hearing music in the background. Let's just vibe it out. So we just took out the pre-market high at 86. I'm trying to lock in one at 95 for 1,115.
You said the rally wouldn't break. Said the floor was safe to stay. Now the bids just fade away.
Go 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 go
Order
go
canceled.
go 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 go
All that
go.
noise, it pulled me in. Every high
Go 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 go.
now the charts don't mean a thing. Just a slow collapse again. You told me trust the move. Said he had it under control.
Not cool, brother.
But the tone changed over.
Not cool, brother.
Now I'm slipping out of hope. I don't wanna back.
Not cool.
Watched it all unwind. Thought we had the upside locked in. Now we're out of time.
I was promised tendies. I was promised gains.
Just a shakeout line. Now we're drifting in the downside. While it all unwind.
Okay, SPX running into that high from 1030, having a bit of an issue, but hasn't even hit the intraday high.
Swing away. Bought the spike, I chased the flame. Now there's no one left to blame. Positions turn to ghosts.
No, come on, brother. What is this bullshit? What is this bullshit? A reversion? Look at that. Are you kidding, dude? The market's out to get me. Market is out to get me. Alright, maybe we should call it. Maybe we should. What the fuck is this? Well, now I need to get that other stop back in.
Order submitted.
I took it off because I thought it was about to fill, so. I'm trying to look for the positive here, but at least if it does dip from here, I can use this as my stop. It's like if we do recover right from here, this little overshoot, and we start to pump back up above, say, like 80 or something, I can then update all of my risk to in the money, which would be pretty nice. So trying to look at the positive side of this situation, of this particular dip, but we really, I mean, I can see that there's 215 contracts to be sold at 400, but we didn't even hit 95. I mean, it's not even like I was being greedy at 400. We hit 93. I mean, I thought I was in the clear. I was front running the key level by 5 points. It wasn't like, oh, I was doing it by like at the level or 1 point. Add your second stop back. It's literally on the screen. Way ahead of you, brother. 50 is the point of control. So, I mean, I'm not liking this setup at all. That's shitty, dude. What are we doing, dude? Well, 'tis trading. I'm really hoping we can take out 400. It just feels like it might be a little bit of a messy path to that particular point. The question from a risk-reward perspective is, if I do it, if we actually recover, would I add another one on the breakout of the IB high? The IB high is right here, 69. If we recover, do I have the balls to add a contract on this breakout, risking the low? So I'd be long a new contract at 69, risking 57. So the new contract would have a risk of 12 points. Would I do that? This is a crazy path. A crazy path. What the fuck is happening? Come on. Anyway, that is one thing I'm considering, is if we take out 70, do I want to add on a third contract? I would move this stop up to break even. I would add that on, and I'd move the risk to whatever that recent low is. Basically, just playing this fake out dip low. We went to 65. We overshot it to 56. Something's happening. Orders are hitting. Someone's trading with some size. I'm seeing Bookmap go a little squirrely on me. I just wanted to go squirrely to the upside and take out 70. So strong battle at whatever that IB is. So, okay, that's pretty much it. I have to manage it. I was trying to show you guys this if it got to fill. Unfortunately, it didn't get to fill. It ran to 93. And then that just shows how, I guess, unlucky I am. But you never know. Maybe this is just a higher... Dude, it's coming for it. Shit. What is happening? Dude, this is going to dip. Do I want to get out of both, though, to protect myself? And then I could always re-add, because if I really do think it's going to dip, I might be able to re-add here at 20 instead of a fill at 39. How do I want to manage this? I need to make a decision. I seemingly need to make... because my fill is unfortunately above this. It could so easily come to 34. It just sucks that my fill is not in a quality spot. All right. I'm trying to make some shrewd decisions here to be mindful of where my account's at. Maybe the bounce off of 50. 50 is the point of control, so it's not the most insane thing to bounce at this level. So I'm trying to keep that in mind. Oops. I'm trying to keep that in mind. How do I want... shit. All right, I am quickly updating my risk because I don't need to go further red, because this amount of red is very, very easy to manage, especially on 150K accounts. Very easy to manage. And here's what's going to happen is there's going to be enough of a dip to knock me out, but this is just shitty. Oh, unless do I want to carry on risk and just use VWAP? But then the argument here is if it does dip, I could probably get a better fill. So why take on risk? One got knocked out. This is painful risk management because I was 2 points away from this fill. This is just such shitty luck. Like at a certain point, like obviously there's a lot of skill in this game, but then there's also random variance of like the fact that instead of picking 93, I picked 95, just kind of somewhat arbitrarily to front run the key level. The skill part is right there, is okay, just don't go further in the red, but that is shitty. I cannot believe that I got that close and it just fucked me anyway. That's insane. That is a bad... Trump preparing military if Iran fails to comply in talks. So, yeah, I was just the victim of unfortunate news. And if the market really doesn't react to it, I could easily see us bouncing and going back up. But that's the beautiful thing about trading futures is there's no pattern day trading. So I can reload. I could take a couple shots at this and be A-okay. So it's just more of on the off chance that the news got out of hand, we could spiral all the way down to 307. So it made no sense for me to hold my risk from 39 when I could get out at break even, reload, have a better position, and then be good to go. So like as much as psychologically what I just had to do is painful because you're always saying, but like, what if it bounces and you're fine anyway? Or looking at it, dude, you can't cry in the casino. It's water under the bridge. You have to manage your risk. And when it goes that much in my favor, I'm not going to be doing it. But yeah, it's unlucky. But as much as you can get unlucky, you can get lucky. There's people who randomly shorted and then that paid out well for them. So like one person's unluckiness is someone else's luckiness. So it is part of the game. It just is part of the game. And you can't freak out about that. Like it's just going to happen. Sometimes you're going to get lucky. Sometimes you're going to get unlucky. And the point is when you're lucky, oh, that's awesome. I hope you got lucky with size. But when you're unlucky, the way I just was, you still have to manage it. You can't psychologically spiral and then somehow like get yourself into a worse situation. I got unlucky, but I capped the unluckiness at just break even. That's fine. Okay, cool. If you are continually taking break even trades, you live to fight another day. And that is the most important aspect of this game. And like I said, I got out there because at that point, there was a high chance of hitting VWAP, which we did. I would have been red. And even here, there's a high chance of hitting the 50% IB. There's a high chance of hitting the other VWAP. So yeah, there's no pattern day trading. I could always add in more contracts. That is completely acceptable. I still do have, I suppose, visions of grandeur for SPX to hit 68.50 today. We got somewhat close. We're dipping a little bit now, which is a bit painful. But overall, the momentum's still bullish. Like this is just a pullback. And the question is, what is the depth of this pullback? Someone said we're dumping. In the short time frame, we're dumping. Why do you have 2 VWAPs? Because I want 2 VWAPs. I'm measuring from 2 important times, session and regular trading hours. Why do you not have 2 VWAPs, I guess is a better question. To me, logically, session start and then market start, regular trading hour start, are 2 pretty important times. So why would you not have those? B for me too. Everything is good. I just take the risk and happy with that. Yeah, it's always risk reward. So like a lot of this game is psychology. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are in a similar trade to me. And on this, they just couldn't handle the fact that they saw green and they want to get out for break even. Like, yeah, I admit it. From a psychological standpoint, that's tough to get out for break even. It really, really is. But what's worse than getting out for break even after being green is getting out for red. And remember, this is it's a game of survival. It's a game of attrition. So if you can get out for break even, I'm not saying it's enjoyable, but it's far better than getting out for red. So please, please keep that in mind. You can survive literally an infinite amount of break even trades. You will be fine. What you can't survive is legitimate hits. And in environments like this is not predictable. As much as people are telling you stupid fucking things about fair value gaps and this and that and trend lines, it was news. There's no way to predict news unless you're like the insider to the administration. You don't know when news is going to come out. That was news driven about Trump, I guess, getting ready with the military. Shit happens. You got to get ready for it. Anyway, that's what I have for you. It seems like the rest of the session is still going to be a pretty exciting one. So I'm going to go trade in the Discord and maybe we can catch a little bit of luck because, in fact, I do have on my Licky shirt. As I said before, I appreciate all the good vibes. Thank you for participating in Payday Friday. Congrats to all the winners. I hope you have an enjoyable weekend. We'll be posting content from now to really the next show on Monday. So make sure you like this stream. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel wherever you're watching and turn on those notifications. And other than that, I will catch you guys on the flippity flip. Once again, thanks for all the vibes. Peace.
Connection lost.